My pregnant girlfriend's friend is ruining our relationship, so I gave her an ultimatum.
Either you're not friends anymore or else.
My girlfriend, Jen, and I have been together for 4 years. Back in April, 2 great things happened. We found out Jen is pregnant.
Woo!
And I closed on a house for us to move into. Wow.
Woo!
Great combo.
Double win.
Our family and friends know about the pregnancy, including Jen's best childhood friend, Amanda. I'll admit, I never liked the dynamic between Amanda and Jen, but it did really not affect our relationship since Amanda lived across the country. By the way, this comes from user JazzLikeMale1635, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Riley.
And OP says, after finding out about the pregnancy, Amanda decided to move back home. We still live in Jen and Amanda's hometown. Amanda has been back since late May, and everything has gone haywire.
Uh-oh.
Jen has always felt a little self-conscious in our relationship. I work construction and do personal training. She feels intimidated by small girls, but I have no idea why. She is a smexy woman with amazing curves.
Well, now I'm just imagining like a little like 6-year-old girl like walking and she's like,
It's like, I don't know why she's afraid of all of these small
These
girls.
small girls.
All of these...
Like
Anyone under the size of 3'5".
Like a Girl Scout comes up and is like, hey, do you want to buy some cookies? She's like,
Anything to make you leave.
please,
Get away from me.
take my money.
The small girls were selling me cookies.
You know how I feel about them. And Opie's like, I know. They're there.
Amanda has done nothing but played into Jen's insecurities and anxieties since being back. Jen and I have never been the tracking location couple or looking through phones couple. We always considered that a red flag in a relationship. Amanda has convinced Jen that she needs to start doing that. So she's been looking through my phone on a regular basis, finding nothing.
Yikes. Huge red flag. I'm sorry. What? She's looking through your phone? No.
Well, if you've got nothing to hide, then what's the problem?
Bye.
Well, if you've got nothing to hide, why can't I look through your whole phone?
Let me see it. Give it here. Give it here,
That's my
Malfoy.
sarcastic voice.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell. That was
I
Dakota
don't
being
agree.
sarcastic.
I don't agree with this sentiment. So, I have communicated my hurt and frustration and that I think she needs to distance herself from Amanda, but she keeps rebuffing my concerns, rebuking. About 2 weeks ago, Jen again asked to look through my phone. I told her in no uncertain terms that this will be the last time she looks through my phone. If she again sees nothing suspicious, then she needs to agree to go to counseling and distance herself from Amanda. She agreed, looked through my phone, found nothing suspicious, but she soon reneged on her promise to do counseling and distancing herself from Amanda. I decided to move out. We are currently on a month-to-month lease in an apartment until renovations get done on the house I bought. I'm staying with a friend until the house is ready, and then I will move in alone. Jen has asked me to reconsider, but I refuse. She would likely need to move in with her mother, which is not ideal given the limited space, which I feel terrible about for my child. Am I the a-hole? And there's an edit. A little bit, maybe. Maybe a little bit.
Say more about that.
Maybe a little. I don't know. It's clearly just this one thing with her friend. I
Yeah.
think
But
separating over it is
but-
kind of wild.
But the thing is, to me, I'm like, well, okay, I don't think that she should jump to separation because they got a kid on the way. She's pregnant. However,
and that-
she's
yeah.
looking through his phone. She's demanding to look through his phone as well. Those aren't great signs.
But
That's
it was
pretty
like
bad.
with consent.
Which-
it was like,
but
but
he
why
also
are we
said
doing
she
this?
looked through his phone, like she had taken his phone and looked through it, which implied to me, I could be reading that wrong, that she had done it without his consent too.
It's clearly an Amanda problem.
Absolutely,
If you break
absolutely.
up with your partner over this.
I don't think he should because she's literally pregnant. They're about to have a
Amanda
baby.
wins
I think
if
they
you
can
do
win. Not win. I think they can get through this.
Amanda wins.
Amanda wins.
She'll go, see, he broke up with you because he knew you were
Yeah.
on to him.
Yeah. I feel like we can get through this if we go to a therapist or something. But I do think it is a huge red flag that she's looking through the phone and listening to
I think it
Amanda.
should be counseling or we're not doing this.
I agree.
Edit. I am fully aware that Jen has raging hormones. Trust me, I was dealing with a lot more than just her insistence on searching my phone constantly. 2, I have been doing individual counseling for 6 years. I want to do couples counseling and Jen to do individual counseling. 3, I left because Jen lied to me. Verdict, I don't know. People are supportive. Let's see. What do these comments have to say? What do you got to say, Riley?
What are you giggling about?
It's like, I know that her hormones are raging.
I know she has raging hormones. I know she's a raging witch. You don't have to tell me. Jeez, OP, we get it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh man. Dustin Daly says, plus he went through all the proper steps to try and save the relationship. She still didn't accept it. Which, yeah, I mean, like, she's not accepting therapy.
It just seems very abrupt. It's like, yeah, he went through all the steps, but it's like, maybe like, I don't know.
I just
give it a little more time.
That's what I think. I think she's pregnant. She's got hormones. She is a problem. Like, she's being a problem right now. She's doing problematic things. I just think that, like, let's see if we can exhaust all resources before we jump to separation because you have a kid on the way and we know what the problem is.
Yeah, why don't
I just want to point out, like, OP, she is in the wrong.
Why don't we flip the logic? Be like, can I actually look through your phone?
Yeah.
Because I heard that a lot of people who project cheating onto their partner are the ones doing it. So since I'm not cheating and you think I am so hard, I feel like you're cheating. And she'll be like, what? That's crazy. I'll be like,
well,
right?
Isn't it? Isn't it crazy? Funny that you say that.
Also, I guess I'm misinterpreting separation here. I'm thinking that it was just like done. We're cutting it.
No, I think that they're just like
it's like a trial separation.
Time, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that they're leaving.
We've got some comments here. Glinda the Witch, tell her the counseling is still on the table, but don't live together until you get to a point where she trusts you and ditches her friend. Here's some more info. A thread where OP gives more info. Okay, the comment from Redditor is, you're the a-hole. Is this post even for real? You have a child on the way, your girlfriend's hormones, anxiety, and insecurities are raging, and you've given her an ultimatum, then disappeared, leaving her alone and potentially having to move in with her mom. You say you've closed on a house, not a family home. You've closed on a house that you may or may not let her live in, depending on her behavior. I just feel sorry for this child, to be honest. Another downvoted comment says, can't believe this comment is so far down. OP is the a-hole for abandoning his pregnant girlfriend and child. Statistically, men cheat more while women are pregnant. And on top of that, pregnancy hormones take over emotions, rational thought, and physical changes. It's a trip. Counseling is a good idea. Medication might be too. Would also not hurt to have a mature, supportive partner instead of a tantrum-throwing, moves out of the house, abandoning buffoon. Does OP not realize there will be an actual baby now, so he has to stop acting like one? What happens when single dad OP has to deal with projectile poop from an infant? Will he leave the country?
I think that's a little bit unfair.
I always hate posts where it's like, well, what will the man do when the baby poops? It's like, clean the baby.
He'll figure it out.
Oh,
I think
God.
that's a little unfair. I don't think that you can equate like him being constantly accused of cheating and demanding that he share everything, you know, like give all of his like his phone and stuff to his girlfriend, to him his parenting ability. I don't think that's quite fair. And also, he clearly did try. He's offered therapy. I just think that I don't think that he should leave her. But I also don't think that saying that she isn't doing anything wrong is very fair. I understand why the pregnancy hormones and stuff are coming into play, and I do think that he needs to give her some grace because of that, but I don't think that you can say that she's done nothing wrong.
Yeah. I went through the rest of that comment, and there's nothing from OP in any of that.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go to the next update, which is written by OP.
Dang.
It's 13 days later. 13 days later, Jen and I met up earlier this week to discuss our relationship after she had sent some text messages. She apologized for how she behaved towards me. She particularly apologized for how she behaved when I moved out of the apartment. She said she will definitively stop searching my phone if I moved back in. She also said she was ready to get engaged. She historically had been the holdup in us getting engaged or married.
Oh.
I asked why she had started searching my phone in the first place, and she said she really did not know. Well, we all know that it's Amanda.
But I think she's just like, I don't know why I listened to her, maybe?
Jen said she has seen me get hit on before by girls in my personal training work and shut the women down even before we were dating. She trusted that I would do that generally, but she's feeling self-conscious about her body and thinks maybe I would be tempted to not do that now. Apparently, Amanda's ex was a guy who got hit on by girls and would shut them down in front of her, but was secretly cheating with some of them. Ooh. But I said, if you saw me rejecting these women before we were even dating, why would that change now? Why would I risk my license? She said she didn't have an answer. I told her that's why she needs counseling to explore that. I asked if in the 6 or so weeks of searching my phone at least every other day, if she saw anything from me to any other women that even hinted at romantic interest. She said no at first, then laughed and commented that I did send a heart emoji to a group chat with Jen to a picture of her mom in a dress she just bought. But she admitted she has no suspicion whatsoever that I'm trying to get with her mom. By the way, you can get your mom to listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime on your favorite podcast platform and you can listen to over 72 days worth of stories. So we've got some more story. I like where we're at. Clearly, there was a bit of the pregnancy
Hullabaloo.
going on.
It's true.
Those were the sounds of pregnancy hormones. Yeah.
I think this is all getting solved. It seems like she's okay with the therapy. Seems like she realizes that she didn't really have a reason for doing any of this and was just listening to the little worm tongue in her ear.
Grimma.
And sometimes you gotta get rid of that guy so that you can be the king of
So you can return as the king.
Gondor. No, is that the king of Gondor?
Who?
The worm tongue guy. Is that no? He's the king of the Rohirrim.
Wormtongue is not the king of anyone.
Worm tongue is the guy who's influencing the king. I'm talking about the king.
Rohan.
Rohan, thank you.
Yeah, gotta get it right, dude.
That's what I was looking for.
That was
Dakota.
embarrassing.
God.
Look, he's in Fangorn Forest right
Yeah.
now.
Look at that.
Look at that.
So
Oh,
cool.
the trees are moving. It's
can
almost
talk
like
to
they're
you.
alive.
Anyway, you got to be the king, Rohan. Don't let any worm tongues
It's
get
the
in.
Rohirrim are the military force.
Okay,
the
so I wasn't
cavalry
that
of
far off.
Rohan.
God.
Well, you can't be the king of the Rohirrim. That's like being the king of the military. What are
Yeah.
you, Julius Caesar?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like Julius
That was
Caesar.
I liked. There were a lot of layers to that. Well, let's get to the last layer of this story.
Yummy.
So, she said she's not ready for counseling and is not ready to give up on Amanda.
No,
but
not
she's
yummy.
going to move in with her mom in the next few weeks. I let her know that I cannot move back in with her until at least counseling is being started. She understood. I'm going to let the landlord know that we're terminating the lease at the end of September.
No.
She's sad we're not living together, but understood where I'm coming from. She gave me a hug and a kiss, and that was the end of the conversation. Her mom later texted and told me they had a long heart-to-heart about Jen and I's relationship. And there are some more comments here. Even Speech 570 says, Jen needs counseling like yesterday. OP needs to look into getting a lawyer because she's going to have this baby, and if she doesn't have her head on straight, by then, things can get really messy really fast. I wish you and your baby and Jen too the best moving forward. Except you basically just wished divorce upon them, you liar.
Liar. I will say, I think that OP really, even if they are separated and they're not going to live together, I think he really needs to be there for her in terms of all of the pregnancy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that gets you out of anything, even though you're separated. You got to be, you're along for the ride. That's your kid too. So drive her to the appointments, Like, make sure that she's comfortable. She's getting food, blah, blah,
Or
blah.
you can be like, you know what? You and Amanda can raise that child together.
Yeah.
Since you guys will never
Maybe
cheat on each
Amanda
other.
can be your dad.
Redditor 7, she has no intention of changing or even pretending to. She's still refusing counseling and won't cut off a toxic influence she admits is affecting the relationship. She's made it very clear where her priorities are. OP needs to sit down with her, maybe her mom present as well, since she seems more rational, and discuss what custody is going to look like when the baby arrives. Make it clear she will not be keeping him from his kid or making all the decisions herself. Keep notes on everything she says, just in case. If they can't come to an amicable agreement now, get a lawyer involved ASAP. Another Redditor says, so basically she promised nothing, but you are getting back together. OP replies, we are not getting back together.
I feel like we just read that. OP just explained that. Did you even read that update commenter?
Redditor 8. Then why are you talking about living together instead of how to split time and money for the baby? OP says, she asked me what it would take for me to consider living together again. I gave her my conditions. She is still refusing those conditions. We're at 22 weeks. We do not need to talk about custody and child support yet. Plus, I'm going to have my lawyer handle that when we get to that point. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, you don't have to rush into being like, yeah, I know that
Let's
the baby's
divorce.
like half cooked. Let's get a divorce and child custody agreement
right
laid
now.
out right now.
They're still trying to figure out if this is going to work.
Yeah,
I
even
don't
though
think
I've
we need
given
to
you
rush
a path.
to it not working.
Yeah, why don't we talk about going to counseling? Because why do you want to wait? Why do
Yeah.
you feel the need to wait to go to counseling?
What are you afraid
They're
of?
going to tell you the same thing whether you wait now or you go later
It's true.
or you go now.
Go now.
Your counselor's going to be like,
now.
hey, here's how I'm breaking that down.
Let
They're
me
gonna
break it
down
down
the
for
same
you.
way.
But folks, that's the end of that story.
I lied to my girlfriend about the time because she's always late.
Okay, Fallout Boy.
My girlfriend is really bad at being early or on time for things. This usually causes us to be late, and we both hate being late, but she always repeats the same behaviors. There are several factors that lead us to being late. She has IBS, which is something out of her control, but contributes to lateness. By the way, this comes from user, my back is hurting me. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon. I don't know, OP, with that name, maybe you're just old.
Yeah. OP says, if she is too tired, she'll insist on getting an hour of sleep. She putters around the house watching TV shows on her phone while trying to do other things. She insists on breakfast and spends time cooking and eating without rushing. She spends a long time figuring out what clothes she wants to wear. Sometimes she'll put on clothes not like how she looks and then go to find other clothes. She also spends a lot of time putting on makeup. On top of that, she often needs to bring extra things like wipes, water, and sometimes extra clothes if we're going to be out for a long time. I've tried speaking to her about this before and told her she needs to focus on getting ready so we do not end up running late. Usually one of two things will happen. She will either get mad at me for getting on her about being late, which she'll tell me she's actually trying to hurry and I'm not noticing, or she'll be sad that she knows we're running late and tells me to go without her. Yesterday, we were going to a small event a friend of mine put on. I told my girlfriend we needed to be there at 12 p.m. As expected, the above-mentioned things happened, and she kept asking me if I was mad at her because we were running late. I told her it was okay, but we really needed to go. She didn't finish getting ready until 12:16 p.m. She apologized for taking so long and asked me how long it would take us to get there and if my friends would be mad at both of us. I told her it was okay because I lied and the event did not really start at 12 p.m., but actually started at 1:30. After she found out, she was livid and told me I was such a huge a-hole for lying to her and making her rush all that time. I told her this was good because now we were going to arrive early for something. She told me that was not the point and focused on me lying to her. Now I don't know if what I did was wrong or not. She spent the whole day speaking to me as little as possible. Am I the a-hole? There's an update. I got a lot of replies and I'm absolutely shocked with the responses. I did not think I would get so many opinions and I read through a lot of them. I want to clear up a lot of questions that were asked in the previous post. Yes, my girlfriend is also late for work and her own stuff too. I took her to get her hair done recently and we were late. She has also been late for work more than a few times, which has led me to having to drive her. I'm the only one who has a car and she doesn't have a license, so if we're going anywhere, then it has to be me that drives. Otherwise, she used to take Uber everywhere. A lot of people said she sounds like a good case for ADHD. Truthfully, I only took her at her word that she doesn't have it, but she also has not been diagnosed for it. So maybe she does have it and is refusing to prioritize the diagnosis. Some of you said she was doing this on purpose, like she enjoys being fashionably late or is intentionally trying to be late for things I do that she doesn't want to go to. I can assure you that this is not the case. If she doesn't want to go with me somewhere, she will tell me, and I have no qualms about it. The event we went to was for a barbecue, and my friend makes really good grilled pineapple that my girlfriend had been looking forward to having all year. So I knew she wanted to be there. About 90% of you guys said something like, leave without her then, or tell her the time you're going to leave, and if she's not ready by then, you leave. Even referencing where she said for me to go by myself because she was running late. Reddit, I promise you, this is the wrong answer. That works for me, but I promise she would be so pissed if I left without her. I know this because I've done that very same thing to her 2 times a few years back, and it led to us fighting. Badly. The first time was because she was going to cause us to be late for my brother's play, and the second time was when I wanted to get groceries and she was taking forever to get ready and the store was going to close in an hour and a half. After all the comments, I knew I needed to talk to her about it. Every Saturday we talk about what happened in our relationship, past and present, and discuss what is working for us and what we're not happy about. I brought up the week before and apologized for lying, telling her I would not trick her like that again. She told me she was happy I apologized because it was on her mind, and she told me I made her feel stupid and like a kid that needs a parent, which a lot of you did say. I then explained to her how frustrating it is to be late to a lot of functions because of her. Here, she took offense because she did not like that I was putting it on her. Oh no.
Oh, man.
Oh no. But it's on you, babe. I'm ready to go in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I don't know what to tell you. It's not me doing that. It's just the facts.
There's only one person who's making us late.
Yeah.
If you're upset about that, I don't know. I don't know.
It's a look in the mirror kind of situation.
Yeah.
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 Unless he was like, oh, babe, your stupid makeup and your stupid clothes keep making us late.
Right.
It's stupid.
Then sure, you can
And
be
you'd
mad
be
about
like,
that.
all right, you messed up there.
Yeah.
I told her to think about the last 10 times we were late for something and who was at fault. She agreed it was her. Here, she started making all kinds of excuses, which I told her were nothing more than excuses. She admitted here that she has a problem managing her time, and I agreed with her. Then I brought up what some of you had said in the previous post. I told her that in her being late, she is making me late, and while I understand she feels hurt about me lying to her, I told her how much it hurts me when she causes us both to be late for something, and how disrespectful it is. If this one instance of me lying to her affected her so much, imagine what it's like for me to be late over hundreds of times throughout our relationship. She started crying and told me to stop, saying I was making such a big deal about this. I tried something different and showed my girlfriend the Reddit post, and she was shocked. She said, OMG, the whole internet thinks I'm some sort of evil witch. As she was reading, I asked her, be honest, when you told me it was okay for me to leave, you did not mean that, right? Right. If I left without you, you would have been really upset with me, right? And she agreed. She would have considered going to her mom's for a few days if I did that. Then don't say that.
Don't say
Then don't
it,
say that.
girl. Don't say
Ooh.
it. If you
Don't
get,
say that.
that's not what you want to do, girl. That's not what you want to do. In one case, what was the other thing that she would do? She would get upset for him rushing her or something like that, and then it was either that or she gets sad and is like, just leave without me. Just go on
Yeah.
without me. But then she'd be like, well, actually, you only have the first option is to just shush and let me do this.
I'm setting all your clocks early.
Yeah. If you gotta do that, that's what you gotta do. I'm gonna tell you that the event is an hour and a half later than it actually is. Because that's what we gotta do.
I mean, honestly, like, if you take all the feelings out of it, it was clearly a very effective strategy.
it worked. Absolutely.
Like I said,
Yeah.
tactical. It's tactical.
Because she was late to that fake time too.
She was
So
very late to the fake time.
very late.
She really connected with a lot of comments where people would say, I'm your girlfriend and I'm always late. She even thought about all the commenters who said she had ADD or ADHD, and she was really concerned because she's never been diagnosed, and a lot of people were saying she has it. One Redditor actually said something that really clicked with both of us, and that was Powerful Pollution 26. I had looked up the Time Optimist a few days ago and thought that was her 100%. Usually the night before, my girlfriend plans out how she's going to get ready and does not follow through. and she always thinks she has more time than she actually has. My girlfriend also agreed that sometimes she'll jump in the shower, and then she comes out, and a whole hour has gone by. By the way, if you want the hours to just fly by, go listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't care what it is. Search OK Storytime and listen to every story we've ever told.
There are so many hours. So many hours that you can do that for.
Like 1,700 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys can be late to that.
Little more story here. I think, she was embarrassed
Yeah.
that she got put on blast. I don't
Yeah.
like the whole, stop, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's
Me
like,
neither.
no, I'm just making it known that it's problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like he's just letting her know that he gets hurt by being late and by her making him late, and then she responds with you're overreacting, you're making a big deal out of it. That's not what you want in a relationship.
Yeah.
Not saying that's like a reason to break up or anything, but it's just
No,
like
I
that's
just
just,
don't like
not cool.
Maybe you should like dress up like a coach and have like a whistle
There you go.
and like a hat and sunglasses.
A little
And you're
stopwatch.
calling plays. You go whistle.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
wipe off that makeup. Let's go.
Right. 10 more minutes on the clock. 10 more minutes on
Let's
the
go.
clock.
Let's go.
We've been spending too much on that mascara. We gotta speed things up. Hustle.
Like, why are we doom scrolling? We were doing
Right.
great. Why are we doom scrolling?
Pick your feet up.
It's all right. We got it. We're right there. And she'd be like, babe, shut up.
Yeah, literally.
And you go, okay, I'm setting the clocks early because I know you're always late.
That's the only. You leave me no choice.
Yeah,
I
girlfriend.
have to fall out boy you
You
right
gotta
now.
start off with, I don't blame you for you.
I don't blame
being
you for being you, but you can't blame me for setting them clocks early.
That's just me being me.
I asked her, what is she going to do to make sure she works on being late? And she asked me what I could do to help her. Do the coach thing. I told her we could buy quick, easy food to microwave, and I can take her iPad away.
Like a child?
What? Take her iPad away.
Oh my God.
Take her iPad away.
You're talking about making her lean cuisines and no iPad time.
No.
This is insane.
Oh man.
She did not like that idea at all. I told her to pick out clothes the day before, so at least it doesn't take her forever to find what she wants to wear. She actually agreed to that. I also told her what another Redditor said about getting in the car and doing her makeup there.
There you go.
She reluctantly agreed to that, but only for places far away. Funny enough, my girlfriend and I were supposed to go meet her friend downtown for this festival called Caribana. And yes, we were late for that because she needed to grab other things to make sure we would be okay, like sunscreen and water bottles, and we could not find hers. This is not a place I wanted to be, so I did not care about being late, but I brought up our discussion and she apologized. This is where we are right now. And that is the end of that story.
Okay.
The story ends at Caribana.
I adopted my little sister, but my girlfriend was not happy.
Well, maybe it's time to adopt your girlfriend because she's being a baby.
Last month, when my 24 male parents were driving back from my uncle's house outside the city, they encountered a moose on a remote road in the forest. My father, who was the driver, swerved at a high speed, hit a tree. They both passed away unseen. Because it wasn't a very often or used road, they were only discovered the next day by passerby. Trigger warning,
a little too late
mentions
for that.
of passing away. By the way, this comes from Throwaway89. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
and we have not been through all of these situations before. But if you have, please put your comments down below. We're just here to give the best advice we can. So OP says, my sister, 8 female, has been staying with my grandmother, who I'm not a great fan of. She said that she doesn't want to adopt my sister, so the next option was me. I agreed with it without question. We are very close, and in the end, she's my family, and I love her to the end of the world. My sister moved in with my girlfriend, 23 female, and me 2 weeks ago. Obviously, she is very scared from what happened to our parents. We were both very close to them, and they were great people. She still doesn't really talk much, only to me and sometimes my girlfriend. We take her to therapy twice a week, and there are improvements. even in such a short amount of time. Yesterday, after I stayed with my sister in her bed until she fell asleep, I went to my girlfriend's room. She said that we had to talk about the situation. She said that we don't really have time for each other since my sister moved in. It's fair point. We've only had spicy sleep once, and that's when my sister was away. And even then, I wasn't really into it at all. She said I should reconsider the adoption and maybe hand her over to my uncle and aunt. I feel like the girlfriend should have brought this up with questions for the boyfriend, because this is an easy solution. One, this is a season, girlfriend. We're going through a season that I have to take care of my sister, and you could be a part of it or not. And we can always have workarounds where the aunt and uncle can help out too sometimes. That's what I think. Anyways, I refused. They already busy as it is. My uncle isn't allowed to work because of a heart condition and because he didn't work long before being diagnosed. His disability fund isn't very big. My aunt works at a retirement home that obviously doesn't pay great. They also pay for my cousin's university expenses while juggling taking care of my younger cousin, who's only 5. My girlfriend is in her last year of university, so we don't have much money either. Luckily, I found a job after university in my field that pays pretty well, and it's been tough financially. Soon enough, I will start receiving funds from the government for adopting my sister. My girlfriend said that she isn't ready to become a mother and overall having all these responsibilities of a parent, which I can understand. It's tough. She said it's been putting a big strain on our relationship, which again is valid. Hate to say it, don't seem like you're cut out for this season of my life.
Yeah, dude, I think it's time to leave her.
Yeah.
I think if you're like, oh, okay, me taking care of my sister is a red flag for you, I guess you should find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're not cut out to be together because I'm picking my sister over you.
Yeah.
We just lost our parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my parents
Yeah.
and hers.
Also, Pete, how are you doing? How are you doing with this?
Yeah.
I've been doing all right. Before, we get back from work and university and be off for the entire day. But now we have to pick up my sister from school, drive her to the therapist, and take care of her a lot when she's home, since she doesn't like to be alone. I told her that while she makes valid points, all of that goes out the window when this is my sister. I just can't throw her away because it's not easy. It won't be easy, and I have to write it out. But she doesn't. It probably wasn't the right thing to say because it set her off. And she said that if I had to choose between my sister and her, who would I pick?
Girl.
Easy.
Are you crazy? Do you think in any universe you win that? Do you think at all, I've just lost both of my parents. Me and my sister are now the only ones left in our family, like immediate family. You think I'm going to pick you over my sister?
Yeah, get your head screwed on straight there.
That's the fastest. I pick my sister. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya. Hit the bricks.
I didn't answer, and we got into a bit of a verbal fight, after which I went to sleep on the couch and kind of broke down from everything that has been going on lately.
Dang.
I should add that my girlfriend and I have been together for 9 years. She knew my parents, and they loved her. She also knows my sister from birth, and I can't understand how she would make me pick between them. I love both of them, and I don't want to lose either of them. I think I need advice on what to do or say with my girlfriend because I'm at a loss. We have an edit. I also want to add, because people seem to think that I just suddenly took my sister without even talking to my girlfriend. That's not the case. We've talked about it at length. She said that we needed to get her to come home to us, no matter what. That's why I was also really surprised at what she had to say. Even if you didn't have to have a conversation, take your 8-year-old sister in. I don't think you need a conversation.
Yeah,
for that. That's
I
my
think
hot take, and I'm
I
going to
agree.
on that hill.
That's ice cold to me because it's like, yeah, my parents are gone.
Yeah.
I have a sister who's 8.
Yep.
She's going to live with us.
Yeah.
And you live with me, so if you're going to be here, she's going to live with us.
So this is what I think you should do. Take your girlfriend aside. Tell her, I love you. This is something I'm serious about. One of the biggest things that you voiced to me is that we don't have a lot of time together. I think once we get to the root of that and work towards figuring that problem out, we'll be good. I cannot get rid of my sister. I am not going to let her be with someone else. She's going to stay with me, and that's my responsibility
Straight
to her.
up.
I'm going to need you to work with me on that, or I don't think this is going to work out. But let's drop the ultimatum. Let's figure out ways to have more time for ourselves, because that's the biggest issue here, is that they just don't have time for each other.
Yeah.
Update 2. Okay, we ended up talking about it for a while, and this is how it all went down.
I think they're splitting.
I think they're together, and this is how the talk went down. At first, my girlfriend apologized profusely for the other night. She said she acted like a spoiled little crap and that it wasn't acceptable at all. I told her that I still love her, same even though what she said was hurtful and that I understood it was a huge jump for her. I explained to her that she doesn't need to be a mother, just a friend or a big sister to my sister, and that I don't want to push any responsibilities on her. I said that if she'd like to, we could both take a break from each other to process this. She refused and said that she processed it and admitted that what she said was a result of everything changing so quickly. She said she didn't want or need a break because she realized what she said was in the wrong. She said she regretted what she said almost immediately, but thought that the damage was done and that I would break up with her. She was scared to approach me because of that. She also said that she didn't mean to make me pick between them and admitted herself that if someone posed her that question, if she were in that situation, she would drop them. She was thankful for me withholding that decision until we had a talk. She said it arose from her feeling distance from me and jealousy that I was spending a lot of time with my sister, but had to spend less time with her as a result. That makes sense. There was a little bit of jealousy there.
Fair. I mean, logical. Logical.
She understands why, though. It's necessary I take care of my sister while she's hurting, and she said she wishes to help me with that as much as she can. She admitted for the past 13 years, I've been her everything, and for those 2 weeks, she thought she was losing me. It terrified her, but after talking about it with some of her close friends, she saw that she wasn't losing me, just that a very important thing popped up in my life that I had to be taken care of, and it was going to take a lot of my attention, which was previously focused mostly on her, which makes sense. You guys are very deeply in love and 13 years in, which is beautiful. So a little bit of instability in that. It makes sense.
Was it 13 or 9? I thought it was 9.
Yeah, she admitted for the past 13 years, I've been her everything.
I guess I like this.
Yeah. Also, we're
I
not
don't
even
like that it could have even come out, though.
Okay, hear
I
me
feel
out.
like this is just damage control.
Yeah, it's damage control, and we're not even halfway through.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my prediction is that this happens, and she's like, I didn't mean it, and I was wrong. Then it's going to happen, and she's going to go right back to being resentful and angry, probably at OP's sister, and then that's going to cause the end of the relationship.
She said she wants me to know I can depend on her in terms of responsibility about my sister and that she will do her best to be good to my sister. And I can see that compared to yesterday or the day before. My girlfriend really tried with my sister today. She initiated conversations with her and helped her out more with homework and picking out some clothes before going to the therapist. It was as if seeing my girlfriend go from being a child to an adult in a matter of a day. I also admitted some of my faults, such as neglecting her over the past few weeks. Although unintentionally, I realized it could have had an impact on a person.
Brother, you're literally grieving the passing of your parents.
Yeah.
Like, you deserve to be given all of the grace in the situation.
You
And
deserve a
that's
little
why
break.
there was a comment saying, like, well, sometimes people say things that are like, upon further reflection, they realize we're wrong. Sure. But, like, you need to know in the context of your partner of maybe, 13 years, their parents are gone, and you don't have the wherewithal to, like, be sympathetic to their sister and him wanting to adopt her and take care of her, not giving him grace, being maybe, I don't know, a little not as present in your relationship after that happens is insane to me.
Yeah, agreed. I also admitted to not really giving her much of a say on the matter of whether my sister would come here to stay. We came up with a few things, namely that we must definitely go to therapy sooner rather than later. She suggested leaving my sister with my aunt and uncle for a few hours over the weekend while we go and sort that out. We also agreed that we need to balance our time more efficiently so we can at least have a bit more time to reconnect with each other, which was my thing. She told me that she's sorry for not helping me grieve or finding time to do that, and that our fight was a wake-up call for her not being supportive enough of me through what happened recently. She said she will do whatever she can to make up for her overstepping. It was at this point that the whole month hit like a train. I cried a lot while she hugged me and gave me words of reassurance and comfort through the whole thing while allowing me to release what I'd been holding on for the past month. This was my girlfriend as I knew her, a very caring person. I really hope that what she showed 2 days ago wasn't her real face, but merely a reaction stemming from insecurity. Only time can tell. And we passed the halfway
true.
mark.
It's good that you're aware of that because it is true.
Yeah, you're pretty mature for this. He's adulted a lot within the past little bit.
Yeah. You're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah. I think it was a positive thing to do, and obviously there were still tons more where that came from, but it's a step in the right direction. When I came back home with my sister, we all played cards, and it just felt like we were a family. It's a good feeling. As of the time that I'm writing this, I put my sister to sleep, and today she didn't take much time to fall asleep at all. She's pretty much drifted off after a forehead kiss and some cuddles. I'm in the living room on the couch right now. My girlfriend is taking a shower, and we're planning to watch a movie together. Honestly, I'm thankful to everyone who gave me advice over the past few hours. I don't think I could have kept a level head so much if many hadn't offered different points of view and sound advice. One thing I learned from this ordeal is that communication, especially in times of stress like this, is vital for making important decisions. It's good to talk to your partner and see if they maybe have an explanation for what they did, but also be ready for the worst. Yeah. Like we say, communicate early and often.
Yeah.
And we also say,
Pee
outside.
outside.
It's good for the plants. It really is. I went into the conversation with my girlfriend, being ready to break up with her if her view hadn't changed. Because, like it or not, for the time being, my sister was a priority. I think that 2 days ago, my girlfriend didn't understand why and couldn't accept it. But after talking to her and explaining why I have to take care of my sister like this, she now understands and accepts it.
I'm sorry. It is such a red flag to me that she needs that explained to her. That in and of itself, I'm glad that she seems receptive to the information, but like, how do you not understand? Parents pass away in a car accident. Was she involved in it? The little sister was in the car, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So incredibly traumatic for her, and you don't understand why the one person she has left in her immediate family wants to adopt her and take care of her, and you're mad that you won't be able to go on date night.
Yeah.
Come on, girl.
Come on, dude. We have a third update 72 days later. Everyone's against the girlfriend here.
OP and sister, they deserve a little vacation from girlfriend. Go somewhere nice. I don't know. They deserve a fun time. They deserve such a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot has happened since my first post. In the end, my girlfriend, now ex, I guess,
There it
couldn't
is.
deal with the fact that I had a new priority, because for the last 13 years, it was you, baby. All she had to worry about was you and her, and that was going to be life. I admit, I wasn't the best at managing time between them two, and I would spend a lot more with my sister than my girlfriend, but I think that's understandable maybe. In general, my girlfriend was on and off with my sister. One day, she would be the nicest person to her, and the other would completely blow her off and be borderline mean. I had a few talks with her that this needs to stop, but it would only end up working for maybe the rest of the week, and the next it would be back to square one. About 3 weeks ago, it erupted into a big argument. She accused me of not loving her anymore and that I play favorites. I told her they're not my children to be playing favorites, and that obviously for some time my sister is going to need a lot more attention since, she lost her parents. In the end, she went back on her ultimatum. Sister or her. I was angry at this point because she had been mean to my sister that day, and I told her she can pack her crap and find a new place to sleep. I haven't seen her since, and quite frankly, I really don't want to.
Good.
I want to see her explain to everybody, like, he broke up with me because he picked his sister over me. Oh, why'd he do that?
She was just in a car one time and something happened. I don't know. It's really dramatized.
Christy Cameron's putting it the right way. Girlfriend had no empathy.
Oh my God.
Zero empathy for the sister. And that's not something that you can go,
And-
actually, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Empathy is not something you just think about. It's something that hits you and you feel it.
She said girlfriend had no empathy for his poor sister and him going through something traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Oh,
You cannot teach that. You cannot think that.
He stopped painting my nails. What am I going to do now?
She literally said, what about my needs and
Right.
wants? Huh?
She should immediately understand, oh, this isn't about me at all.
Also-
she's saying that you don't love her anymore because you're taking care of your sister. She's insane.
And a mom's boy says that's why she was a girlfriend, not a wife. This was a good wife test.
Yeah.
See how she would do. So we
It's not a good
texted.
girlfriend test. Like,
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's wild. So we texted for a bit, basically both sides confirming it's over and arranging when she can come for the rest of her stuff. As for my sister, she's a lot better. She doesn't stay in her room all day anymore, and she's slowly going back to her talkative old self. Oh, wonder why. She still doesn't like being alone, but it was the same before the accident. So my girlfriend moved out, and we're sharing a bed for comfort. She still wakes up at night crying sometimes. So it's better when I'm there. And frankly, it's a lot more comfortable. By the way, you can be comfortable with more stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple. We have 73 days at this point,
We've
72?
got 1,700 hours of stories.
It's tons of hours. Guys, you called it. I didn't want to believe it. I thought there was a little bit left here, but I did feel love bombing.
Let me say exactly what should have been said.
Yeah.
Let me say what I think he needs to hear to figure. And he did. And it's like, if you really meant that and you meant that down to your core, it could have worked, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You just said that because it's not something you should need to check. I cannot emphasize enough how easy it should be to know that when your boyfriend of 9 or 13 or however many years loses their parents in a car accident and their sister's in the car and lost her parents and she's 8 years old and he goes, I'm going to take care of my sister. And you go, ugh, but us. But me, but my time with you.
It doesn't matter.
You're crazy for that.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years, 20 years, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 1 day.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is wild. Very much wild. One thing I really regret is my sister heard that whole fight, and she started apologizing for breaking me and my girlfriend up. I assured her it was not her fault at all, and if anything, she helped me see who my girlfriend really was. She still goes to therapy, and it's really helped a ton. She doesn't need me to be there while she falls asleep and doesn't panic when I go to the shop for 15 minutes. All in all, these past 3 months have been the hardest time in my life, but eye-opening to my ex's regard for family and kind of me too. Sorry for no happy ending. I guess this is how life really is.
Nah, brother. Yes, sucks, but you have a happy ending with way better off with that chick.
Super happy ending. Imagine you were married to her.
Oh my gosh.
And then she would drag out the divorce, try to take everything she could from you and your sister now. She probably would have been vicious because there was talk in there about, I hate that I predicted that she was going to be mean to your sister because she's just full of crap saying, oh yeah, I was wrong. I thought about it. I was wrong. You're right. And then we can do this. And then the resentment's just going to go right onto your sister while she's literally recovering from one of the most traumatic things you could ever go through.
Oh my gosh, so hard.
Not
so
only
hard.
Parentless, but then there's the survivor's guilt and everything, all of it.
Yeah.
That she could be mean to your sister because she's jealous that she's getting attention from you is
Dude,
actually
on.
psycho.
Come on,
so
son.
good. It's good. This is great news.
It's amazing news. And guys, that's the end of that story.
My mother evicted us from our home after giving half of it to me.
Well, then she should only be able to evict half of you.
Here we go. My mother has been impulsive and controlling for as long as I can remember. Every relationship she's ever had has been strained because of her behavior towards colleagues, siblings, my dad, her ex-husband, friends, and everyone else in her path. By the way, this comes from Litany Spears 12, and if you want to spin your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And OP says, 3 years ago, I got a job opportunity in a different country, one where we have a lot of family. I decided to take it because I was excited for the opportunity to become closer to them and experience life on a different continent. While I was settling into my new life, my mother, who is retired, visited shortly after and declared that she would buy a home near my apartment and move to the country. The problem was that this isn't possible due to immigration laws. You need a long-term visa, not a tourist visa for extended stays. Her ego didn't allow no for an answer. So she bought a beautiful beachfront property anyway, in hopes of gaining citizenship. Legally, she would only be allowed up to 90 days, potentially 180 if extended. She couldn't believe what the case officer and lawyer she hired were telling her, and she started arguing with them about how much money she would donate to society with her housing purchases. When reality finally set in after several failed meetings, we decided it would be best if I lived in the property to keep it maintained, pay the bills, and she could visit whenever without worrying about it being vacant. After some time, I met my girlfriend. We became serious and she moved in. My mother was happy about how things were going for me and would FaceTime with us regularly, really taking a liking to her. When my girlfriend became pregnant and we announced the news, my mother was extremely happy and gifted me 50% of the home as a present to us. It was the nicest and most generous thing anyone had ever done for me, something I never saw coming. Last summer, she visited and planned to stay with us for 6 months to help before and after the baby was born, which was very kind. This is where the story turns for the worse.
Oh no. not for the worse.
A week or two into her visit, while my girlfriend was 6 to 7 months pregnant, she became very upset with me in front of my girlfriend. All because I had asked her earlier that day, privately over text, about not announcing our family's financial situation to the entire world. She likes to brag to people about how much she makes without working, the values of her homes, and similar things. That type of behavior makes me uncomfortable because I've always been a private person and I don't want people getting the wrong impression of me or her. For context, my mother is the most paranoid person on the planet when she's not in showing off mode. She constantly thinks her phone is being hacked, always reports random things to the FBI because she fears people are after her money, and only uses her phone when she's in her room on Wi-Fi. Otherwise, it's off essentially 21 hours a day. Honestly, you know what? Good for her. She's, no phone, no screen. She's even reported some of her friends to the police or FBI, accusing them of stealing money from her bank accounts. My mother, father, and I never had money growing up. My father always worked an honest job, and so did I after finishing college 10 years ago. She recently came into wealth after a massive inheritance from a wealthy family friend who passed away 5 years ago. She essentially convinced him to marry her to collect all his assets, retirement accounts, homes, and everything he had accumulated before he passed away in 2020. During our argument last summer, she kept saying she was punting us out, that we needed to get our own place, and that we were making her sick and could stress her out enough to land her in the hospital. This was despite the fact that we were literally at work all day like any regular person. My girlfriend became frightened of her, and for good reason, because my mother was very agitated for 2 days straight. She suddenly booked a flight back to her country and left a note saying to look for a new home and car, but we had to leave the property by a specific date. After a week or two, she reached out asking me to send her listings and cars, which I didn't do because she was just using that as a ploy to get back on good terms. Instead, I focused on my career and my girlfriend's health because it was getting tough in the weeks before birth. 3 months after my child was born, she came back to help during the holidays and planned to stay for 6 months again. We were hesitant based on what had happened 6 months prior, but I was trying to convince my girlfriend that maybe with her grandchild here, she wouldn't cause issues because it would be a special time for all of us. Maybe if we tell the burglars it's Christmas, they won't rob us.
Ah, what a sweet Christmas gift.
The first 4 weeks were okay, but not great. As I said before, she's overly controlling, constantly overstepping boundaries, and worst of all, constantly trying to teach us how to parent instead of letting us grow into our roles. What broke my communication with her permanently is what happened next. For the holidays, we visited my girlfriend's family, 2 hours away for a week. My mother had met her parents before, but during this trip, she turned into a completely different person. She hardly spoke to them when they were hosting her and would blatantly ignore other family members who tried to interact with her during Christmas. She kept trying to take our baby from people's hands and wouldn't participate in anything we were doing. Dinner, games, trivia, gift opening, nothing. She eventually left Christmas early and went back to my girlfriend's parents' house without telling anyone. So I had to cover for her and tell everyone she was feeling sick. The next morning, she called me at 4 a.m., very upset about how she didn't get along with my girlfriend, her family, and wanted to leave immediately. I couldn't even get a word in before she demanded to be picked up. I drove to get her and found her standing outside with her luggage in the dark, demanding to take the train back home. I told her there were no trains that early, and if she really wanted to leave, she had to wait at the house where we were staying. I brought her back, and my girlfriend casually said, "Hi, what's going on?" While holding our infant daughter. My mother became very agitated and made hostile comments about how my girlfriend would never see the inside of our home again, or me, or our family. I don't think that's true. I think that OP's girlfriend is probably going to see him, seeing as he's the father of their collective child.
Yeah, I think that's the smart money bet.
My girlfriend was clearly confused and shaken. I stepped between them and pushed my mother and her stuff into the car before telling her firmly that she would never threaten my girlfriend, especially while she was holding our daughter. I dropped her at the train station and returned to explain everything to my girlfriend, who was clearly shaken, as was I. After a few days of angry texts, my mother said she had changed the locks and we would never go inside the home again. She demanded we collect our personal belongings, which made up about 95% of what was in the home. When my friends and I went over to pack, she was there with some neighbors, people I know she had hardly spoken to before, for reasons I still don't understand. As I was leaving, I made sure the neighbors knew what type of person she really was. someone who will go to extreme lengths with zero regard for anyone but herself. My family and I were lucky enough to have shelter for 2 weeks until we could finally secure the one apartment that was available during the holiday season. 2.5 months passed. We traveled back to the States in early January, and 2 neighbors had been going into my home to collect mine and my girlfriend's mail because neither of them would give me the new keys to my own house. They feared my mother more than doing what was morally and legally right for my family. It has honestly been a very stressful 3 to 4 months, working full-time, trying to keep my girlfriend's spirits high, and maintaining structure and routine for our child while living in a cramped, tiny apartment because we had no other options during the slow holiday season. I consulted a lawyer and we proceeded with a forced sale through the courts, which she didn't know about yet. I also got a locksmith to change the locks so I would have keys and rightful access to my own home again. I didn't care if she showed up and couldn't get in because the locks were changed. Am I the knucklehead for forcing a sale on the home to cut ties permanently? But there's an update. With my lawyer, we drafted a statement and provided extensive evidence on the situation, which made it easier for them to decide. She had zero legal representation during the proceedings and even admitted to the judge that she needed to remove us forcefully and immediately because we were rude and stressed her out with our nonsense. Talking about your baby? What's your nonsense?
Nonsense being normal people.
She's like, they walk around and they eat and they talk.
And they don't call the FBI on their friends.
It's ridiculous. She admitted to changing the locks on us and handing keys to the neighbors to prevent us from entering and potentially damaging the home. Why would we do that? That's our home where we started raising our family. The courts laid out all of her bad faith acts and illegal actions because we have strict rights as tenants, and even more so because we have a child. The court didn't take lightly to her actions that bordered on making us homeless in winter before we found housing. My forced court sale was approved immediately, and she was ordered to pay a fine, my legal fees, and hand over the keys to our place within 24 hours. She sent a letter to the court demanding I pay for her travel expenses because she had no idea she was being taken to court. The court denied her request, obviously. The drama didn't end there. Our home took a hit because the market was bad, but I didn't care because I just wanted out of this mess and to get my money. In the end, my lawyer emailed both of us that it was sold and the deposit by the new tenant was paid, so the home would be theirs on October 1st. When that email came in, my mother lost her composure and sent my lawyer and me about 5 frantic emails stating that the price was unacceptable and needed to be voided ASAP because now she wanted to keep the home. Court orders don't work like that, as you all know. They're final, no ifs, ands, or buts. She was even on record in 3 different documents to the court stating that she came back to sell the place, but didn't realize the home had a court order hold on it because I had filed for it through my lawyer months ago. She's like, no, you don't understand. I'm donating so much of this money.
Yes. I was actually
Donating
going
all.
to donate this house.
To my bank account.
To myself, I was going to donate it.
Some of the emails she sent my lawyer and me included offers to pay me double the money if she could keep the place because it will not be let go at that price. And how could you sell it for 40% less than I paid? Void it now. She even went as far as asking for the new tenant's information so she could contact him.
Oh my God, I'd love to see how that conversation rolls out. Hey, I know you bought my house. I don't want you to buy it, and I also would like you to pay twice as much. Thank you.
Give it back, please. But I would like you to give us your attention on full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. My mother contacted our family back home and complained about me again, as she has for 9 to 10 months now. My aunts and cousins told her he did what he had to protect his family, and you should honestly give him the rest of the money from the sale because you clearly don't need it. He has a family to support, and that was his home to begin with. That's where his life is. She called them all backstabbing people and hung up. I will receive a nice payout in a few weeks, and she'll lose about 2.5 times what I will get. That's a lesson to you, mother. You took it too far this time. And that's the end of that story, folks.
My girlfriend tried to become my son's new mother behind my back.
Oh, no, not 2 moms?
I was married to the most amazing woman 6 years ago. We had been dating for 2 years before we got married. She got pregnant after graduating from college. We were both happy, and this was what we had wanted. Our son was born, and life was awesome. By the way, this comes from Can't Blog It. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. 10 months after his birth, while on a trip to get some stuff for the house, her car collided with 2 others. She passed away by the time the ambulance arrived. Life was a witch. Suddenly, the whole world collapsed on me. I was in shock and therapy didn't help. The only thing that kept me going was my son. He was barely 10 months old, but he lived. I forgot about everything else in life and functioned solely as a father. I didn't go out, ignored my friends, and stopped my social life altogether. Still, I was proud of what I had accomplished as a single father. Sure, there were a few scares here and there, but overall, it was great. My son was healthy and happy. Money was never a problem for me. It still hurt like a witch inside. I literally felt no temptation to meet anybody else. I was still recovering from it all, I guess. Then I started going out a little. My sister offered to take care of my son. She was great with him, so I felt comfortable. I got back in touch with my friends. I still retained a good physique. There wasn't much to do at home, so I just worked out. I had started taking care of myself, too. I got used to the female attention. After blowing off the initial 4 or 5 dates, I know, it's bad, but I just couldn't go ahead with them then. I started meeting with other women. I'd just have casual dates with these women, but I'd turn them down before anything physical happened. It took me a long time to even kiss a girl again. On this cycle, I met Natalie, random alias here. She was an exceptionally beautiful girl who worked in my industry, loved that I was a single father, and sympathized with my loss. She was a great person and had an awesome personality. I found something special about her, so I stuck with her. It took us almost a month to have spicy sleep, but she was very patient with me. I had told her up front that meeting my son was not something that would happen very soon, and she understood. We had a great relationship. She complained a few times about me spending a lot of time with my son and barely enough with her, but we made it work after talking about the issue. She only met my son for the first time 2 months ago. I brought her along when we were at the park. She said hi, and he just looked up and sort of laughed. He's 4 and able to articulate properly, at least small words and greetings, so I told him to say hello. He said that, and then his attention went back to the racket and the ball. She clearly liked him. I know she wasn't feigning interest because even when I went a bit away and was busy with something else, she was trying to play with him and interact with him a lot. That was supposed to be a happy moment, but seeing with her reminded me of my wife, and it hurt like a witch again. But I got over it, so I gradually increased their time together. We still met outside most of the time, and not that much inside. We spent the daytime at her place, and late at night, she would come over to mine when my son was asleep. After a point, I felt a little comfortable leaving them alone together. So this week, my sister was visiting in town. My son absolutely adores her. She was his first female contact. I had to leave to take an overnight flight to get some work stuff sorted out, so she stayed at my place. Natalie called me in the morning and told me that she wanted to visit my son. She had been visiting him a lot, so I thought it was okay. When I came back, this is what my sister wordly told me. Natalie came around in the morning. She spent an hour with my son and my sister. They're good friends and get along very well. My sister got up to make something for them and went into the kitchen while Natalie and my son were in the living room. He was on the floor playing with his toys. I guess as soon as my sister went into the kitchen, Natalie picked up my son onto her lap. My sister said she heard Natalie trying to get him to call her mommy. He usually calls her by a shortened version of her name, which makes him giggle for some reason. He said that and giggled. My sister leaned in to see what they were doing, and according to her, my girlfriend was saying to him, no, not the nickname that my son has for her, mommy, repeating it until my son said it. Then she kept saying, I'm your mommy, and more like that. My sister was alarmed but didn't say anything. He's done that with her too. But she always brought up a picture of his mother to show him, so he stopped calling her that. I had always told him that the angel in the picture was mommy. It took him some time, but he stopped calling anyone else mommy. I had told my girlfriend about this before, and she had agreed. I had told her that it was important to me that my son knows who his real mother was. She said she understood. And now here I am, angry, frustrated, enraged, and feeling a bit betrayed. I don't know how long this has been going on. I haven't said anything to her. She knows I'm pissed about something. We have our 1-year anniversary coming up in 20 days. I had big plans for that. Now I don't know what to do. Edit, this is not about me moving on from my wife. This is about my son's mother, and that's all. We have an update 4 days later.
That's kind of crazy. Like, I would be very weirded out
I'd be
if,
so mad and just like, why?
yeah, I would be very, very weirded out. Like, especially because, like, he's never actually heard it. Like, the sister heard it. So, obviously,
Right.
like, maybe she might have been saying it before and he just doesn't know. And then now it's like, no, this is, like, I want you to call me mom. Which I think, I don't know, like, maybe she, like, because it hasn't even been, like, a year.
It's almost a year.
Yeah.
Which means it's less time since the son's known her, too, because that was like at least 3 or 4 months in.
Exactly. So, I'm like, yeah, because
He didn't
They didn't
meet him
meet
for
right
a while.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, how I would deal with this is I would immediately bring it up and be like, hey, my sister heard this. Is this correct? First of all, like, you know, obviously if she like says yes, then we'll go into it. If she says no, I'd be like, you're a liar. Bye. But,
You're a liar. Bye.
yeah. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
take it. You know, like if she's like, oh yeah, I did do that. I'd be like, okay, you know how I feel though, right? About
Why are
that.
you doing it?
Yeah. So what's going on here?
Basically, I talked to her. She did agree that this had indeed happened. So she didn't deny it. That was a good thing. I asked her why she did it. She gave the reason that she always felt like an extra in my life, and she thought that we could be closer if we tried to be a family.
No.
Not how that works, honey.
Yeah, you can't just force it. Be like, yeah, nah, I'm your mom now.
Yeah, because the 4-year-old called me mom a couple times, I'm actually now his mother.
Yeah,
It's
like that's not how
crazy.
it works.
No.
You need to like actually, and plus, I feel bad for OP because he's like, I thought she understood that, and now it
Right.
seems like she's overstepping that boundary, and
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate when you find people's true colors out, months later.
I explained to her in a calm, composed manner that we can't just pretend to be a family, and that her trying to make a permanent bond with my 4-year-old son, whom she'd known for only 2 months,
Wait,
wasn't quite the way to do it. She cried and apologized. Nevertheless, this was a huge setback in our relationship. It's difficult to look at things the same way after what happened. Our big anniversary surprise is canceled. I'll make up for it sometime later. We are still dating, but she isn't going to meet my son anytime soon. This meant that we'd be spending less nights together, but she understood. I'm also going to see a child therapist to get this mommy thing sorted out once and for all so that my son isn't emotionally affected. For those of you saying that what she did was 100% right, it wasn't. My girlfriend and I are dating. She has known my son for 2 months. If a mommy bond were to form right now and we were to break up, it'll affect my 4-year-old too. That'll have to wait for marriage, which honestly is something I have mentally pushed back for now. It'll take time to get trust back with her. We have another update. I know all of you guys would be expecting a wonderful update with all of us becoming one big happy family. Sorry, but I got witch slapped by life.
Knew it. Honestly knew it.
Since a couple of weeks ago, she kept pushing me again and again over visiting my son. I told her no, firmly, but she kept on being passive aggressive. All I wanted was a little more time, but she pushed me to a limit. She said that my son was missing her. He was not, and that I'm doing him a disservice by keeping her out of his life, and that I'm a horrible parent and I can't raise my son alone. We had a big fight over it and we broke up. She broke down and crawled back and apologized, but things were never going to be the same. Life effing sucks. By the way, you know what never sucks? The fact that you can always listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. We got a little bit more. I'll tell you the title Update 3, 1 year later.
Oh, wait. I wonder if it's the same girl or different. Oh, no.
Okay, take your what are your final thoughts? Take your guesses.
I would have to say she is trying to come back. Like, things didn't work out for her, and she's trying to slip back, and things probably, like, haven't been so great for him, and this is something that's familiar, so I feel like they're gonna fall back into it, but he knows that he shouldn't, and then he'll figure out and be like, nah, it still didn't work again.
I'll go more hopeful. I'm gonna
Okay.
say he's moved on, and maybe he's recently introduced his son or to someone new that he really likes. Update 3, 1 year later. Almost a year ago, I came here to talk about my life going upside down. I lost a great girlfriend, someone I thought I could finally trust and allow into my son's life. That did not go well. Anyway, that time of my life was very difficult, but I really got some great perspective from the people on here. So I just wanted to thank you all once again. I feel like I'm in a really good position in my life right now. And everything feels awesome. I've put all the pieces together, and my son and I are really happy. He's doing great and is healthy. P.S. I'm thinking of getting us a dog. What do you guys think about border collies? And that's the end of that story.
Wait!
They're getting a dog!
That wasn't an update. That was just like, guys, I'm doing good. Bye. I wanted to know the drama.
But that's the end of that story, and we got another one.
My girlfriend tried to change who I am, and now I want to leave her.
I can't change.
I, 30 male, met her 32 female earlier this year. We were fast friends within a month of meeting and dating after a month, and we had been official for around 6 months or so. I met her on a night out with some friends. By the way, this comes from user Pam T. Wearer123, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give you a little bit of good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just a bunch of goofballs. So if you would do something different, why don't you just let us know in the comments? And OP says, we live separately, but she spent a lot of time at my house as it is nearer to where she works. Our relationship started really nicely. I felt like we just got on really well, and she was really supportive of me as well. But recently, she had been quite pushy about me making changes to my lifestyle and seemed angry and disappointed with the results. The two big ones were my work and what I wear. As for my work, I work at the same store I've worked at since I was 16. It's just an easy job, pays my bills, and I know how to do everything there. I am basically a manager without the responsibility of actually being a manager, since I don't want that level of responsibility for no extra pay. I also make money via stocks and cryptocurrencies, so I don't struggle for money. As for what I like to wear, I have many jumpers and t-shirts of an emo band my friends and I loved when we were young. I genuinely have like 50 or so that I wear a lot because it makes me happy and does not hurt anyone either. I admit I have a bit of a problem with anxiety. Familiarity helps me cope with it. And some family think I might have OCD. But I have never been diagnosed. I think if you're wearing 50 of the same t-shirt, my guy, you might have it.
We're going to pause. So you're 30.
His entire wardrobe is just this one band.
You're 30 years old. You're 30 years old. We have 50 shirts of the same band. You work at the same job that you worked at 16. Have not had a pay raise?
Apparently not.
You're not a manager. You do all the manager tasks.
No, you don't.
Sorry, you get paid the same as a manager, but you don't do the manager tasks.
He's basically a manager.
Basically a manager, but you're not a manager, so there's no actual
Also,
upward.
He's basically a
Are you
manager with no manager
movement?
pay.
Are you sure there's not a pay increase to being a manager?
Because usually there is a pay increase. That's why there is a manager
Did you just
position.
assume that?
The point is, I understand why your girlfriend might be mad.
My girlfriend, a few weeks ago, expressed frustration with my clothes, saying I need to grow up and get new ones. She spends a lot of money to get whatever clothes are in fashion, and I don't have a problem with that, as it's her money to spend, and she's not hurting anyone. But I do not know why she has a problem with my clothes. The argument was big, but resolved, and we went shopping and bought some nice new clothes.
Sick.
They were actually quite nice, and I like wearing them too.
Sick.
A few days later, I was wearing a band t-shirt again because the new clothes were in the wash, and she was really angry about it.
That's sick.
Uh-oh. I explained the new clothes were in the wash, and it was not decided that I would completely stop wearing the band stuff, she would not talk to me for the rest of the day.
Well, that's silly.
Why was this not brought up at the very beginning of your relationship?
Well, I think she probably expected him to change, but I think that's a little unreasonable to expect a person to just change completely and not wear the things that they like to wear. Like, he's already changing and adapting in certain ways, and I think it's unreasonable for her to say you can't do anything that you used to like to do because you have to do it my way.
Of course. The next day, she had cooled off and explained that she thinks new clothes will help me grow as a person. We talked a long time, and I eventually agreed to get rid of the band clothes. While I was packing them up, I started crying, and she called me stupid.
Oh,
Bro,
no. It's over.
Yeah, it's
you
over.
break up with this person,
That's
dude.
really rude.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's not like I want to help you change. I think that you would look really nice in these clothes. That's like I hate who you are, and I want you to completely change everything
She's
about
treating
yourself.
OP like a Ken doll.
Yeah, and that's grody.
Yeah. I asked her to leave. She came back a few hours later, and we made up. I packed the boxes into my car and told her I was going to donate them.
No.
She was really pleased and said I was making the right choice getting rid of them.
I did not donate them.
Good.
I took them to work, and I'm keeping them there until further notice.
My boss was confused,
OP,
but understanding.
if you feel the need to hide the fact that you have these clothes, you're an adult. You're a 30-year-old adult. You're allowed to have the clothes that you like. She cannot tell you to get rid of them.
Yeah, for real. Like, what?
She can advise. She can suggest. She cannot force you to do anything.
Yeah, the next thing she's going to do is like, oh, you like this band? Never play that music ever
You can never
again.
listen to it again. Yeah.
Come on now. I got back home and she had ordered me lots of new clothes. Without you?
That's weird.
She told me she understands it was upsetting, but I would be better off for it. That night, a few hours later, she wanted to talk about my work and why I was not a manager. I explained I do not want to be. She had been distant and only talked about how I should ask to be a manager. I kept explaining why I do not want to be, and I would not even be paid more, nor is there a need for it at the store. She kept saying that I need to fight for a pay rise so I can treat us to nice things. I told her that is not how it works, and that I make money in other ways, and she has her own money too, so it shouldn't matter. She shouted at me that I'm useless and stormed out. My boss also told me she called the store and asked why I'm not a manager.
That's crazy.
I think both of you need to be making your way to a doctor's office to
Yeah.
get diagnosed
Yeah.
with something.
Yeah.
She's going to get diagnosed with mean, over-controlling girlfriend disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what you'll get, but I would
get
I would
something.
bet money on something.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's just we should be informed.
So that we know how to manage it.
After being upset and feeling useless for a few hours, I decided I don't want to be with her. I realized I don't see my friends as much as I used to because she likes to spend all our free time just us.
Concerning.
I just do not feel happy with her anymore and feel like she actually acted differently when we started out just to get close to me. She even said she loved all the band stuff when I first showed her.
So she lied.
I think she may be right that the new clothes might help me a bit. I genuinely appreciate that and like how I look in some of the clothes we bought. But I also liked how I looked in the band stuff and still think it was not over the top. I would normally just wear jeans and a t-shirt or jumper anyway. I don't think it's as ridiculous as she said it was. I just thought of it as a wearable collection. People collect weirder things. As well as this, I really don't like that I lied to her about donating the band stuff. It felt horrible and dishonest. My boss and colleagues could tell something was off when I took the boxes into work. I try to be honest as I do not want to upset people. Anyway, I wanted to break up with her, but I knew it was going to be difficult. She is good at talking me into stuff, but my mind was made up 100%.
Good.
I was not sure how or when to do it, though. I felt really anxious about it. And there's a 7-day later update.
Let me guess. 7 days later, you did it.
Here's how you break up with her.
Yeah.
You go, we're done. We're breaking up.
You're mean to me.
You see
You're
this
mean.
band, babe? It was never a phase.
It
You're
was
a mean
never
lady,
phase, babe.
And I'm
You're
pretty sure that
mean.
gold ring that you have that lights up when you put it in the fire is actually the One Ring. And you are Sauron the Deceiver, the evilest man of all the land.
True. I knew it.
7 days later.
So long and good night.
Some things I want to address first. I work at the same place I have done for years because of my anxiety. I know how to do everything at my job, and it helps me feel grounded and not worry. When I said I'm basically a manager, I meant that I sometimes fill in shifts and responsibilities for them. And we have talked about me officially being manager before, but it's not what I want. I don't want to take my work home with me and never be able to switch off like I see some of them do. That said, I do want to have some more ambition in my life going forward, and I'm going to be looking at other ventures. My clothes, my band clothes, are now back at my house. I still have the new clothes we bought as I paid for a lot of them, and I plan to continue wearing them too. I can see what she meant by wanting me to wear new clothes. I just don't like her end goal or the way she went about it. For the people who think I dress like these goth people dancing under a bridge, I do not. It is usually just a band tee or jumper with some normal jeans. I'm not a teenager, just a 30-year-old who still loves the same band. Okay, so now the main story. I took advice from some responses. We lived separately, so there was no lease issues, but I did change my lock since I had given her a key a few months ago. As for the breakup, it did not go well, but it did go at least. I was at home thinking of how to do it, which cafe or restaurant I would do it in, and she finished work and came to mine without prior discussion, which isn't unusual for her. She could tell something was off, and since I had been thinking about it for hours, I was 150% sure I wanted to do it, so I just did it at home. I told her I had lied about donating my clothes and I had taken them to work instead. She was angry and called me a liar, which is what she is.
Yeah.
I apologized and explained that I felt a lot of unfair pressure to get rid of them when I did not really want to, and my collection wasn't hurting anyone. I did not feel the argument was fair and feel she made me lie, but I hate saying stuff like that, so I left it alone. Then I told her I was really annoyed about her calling my boss. She said she was sorry, but I should be a manager, and I said that was okay. She looked confused, but accepted it. Then I said I don't want to be with her anymore, and I wanted her to leave.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I said my mind was made up, and technically we already had broken up. She called me pathetic as she walked out and slammed the door.
Nice.
Hey, boing whip, boing whip. That's your words bouncing off of me and sticking to you. I sent her a message about picking up her stuff. There's not much here, so maybe she doesn't want to. I called my boss to explain the situation and be wary of contact from her. We have worked together for years and are good friends, so he was understanding and said he would help if I needed it. As for me, I do want to work on myself a bit, partly because of things she said, but not for the same reasons. Just for me to grow a bit in terms of work experience and fashion sense. I will be buying more smart, casual clothes to wear as well. I don't think I will ever fully stop wearing band clothes, though. And by the way, you never have to stop listening to full episodes with stories just like this one on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen until all of your band t-shirts have holes in them and you have to buy new ones.
It's true. Long time.
Let's go ahead and finish this story. I am feeling weird, but okay. It feels great to have acted decisively. I've not felt sad yet, nor happy either, just relieved mostly. Some of her stuff is still here, and it feels weird to see it, knowing it will never be that way again. It's okay. She sucked, bro.
She
She
You'll find someone better. You'll find someone
dude.
better.
She stunk.
Stinky.
Shoo-wee.
I was gonna say the only positive thing she did was like kind of expand your wardrobe,
Yeah.
but
and,
like
like-
in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know how to describe the feeling. I have spoken to friends about it and will be seeing them soon. I do not know what she has been up to or what she will do. I'm not sure if I want to. There's nothing left for me with her anyway. Thank you to everyone for the kind words. It felt good to know I was not being treated fairly and was not being stupid like she said. Some even messaged me with similar stuff or how much they liked their partners with similar habits to my band clothes, which was really nice. Yeah, you can find someone who just likes you
Yeah.
for you, dude. That's
Yeah.
like, that really is the key. It's like, sure,
Yeah.
like wanting to change someone's fashion sense is one thing, but like being like, yeah, the stuff that you like is pathetic and dumb.
It's so rude.
Whoa, dude.
Like you can
Whoa.
your partner can influence you to expand your worldview, but the second that they're just calling you dumb and
Yeah.
stupid.
And I think you do need to get I mean, it sounds like you have something. You said people, you have anxiety. I don't know if that's self-diagnosed or not. You said that there's people around you that think you might have OCD. I think you should just go get that, go get screened for that so you can figure out how to manage, your day-to-day existence,
Also, get a raise.
Get a
Like-
raise.
like,
Get a raise.
high
You
key,
deserve
you
it.
can-
If
you
you've been
deserve
there
it.
since, if you've been there for
Yeah,
like
get a raise.
16
You've been there
years,
for
get a
almost 2
raise.
decades.
Yeah.
One reason I still wear the band tees is sometimes other fans spot them and we have a nice conversation and always end up smiling. It is just nice.
That's how I feel when I wear my 49ers jersey. All of the 49ers come up to me.
All 49 of them.
All 49 of them. No, all the 49er fans come up to me and they're like, "Oh, like 40, like yeah." And then they start asking me questions about. I feel like I'm being tested every time I wear it.
You
Literally,
are.
they come
'Cause
up and they're like,
You're
"They
living
win
a
the
lie.
game."
You're living a lie.
Like favorite. I'm like,
I already gave you your cheat sheet.
I know. I tell them that.
Okay.
They don't ask follow-up questions, but it's just hard.
And they give you a high five again. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
you're
do.
right.
Say,
And
I liked Joe Montana better on the Chiefs. I took my brother to court and now my parents are lying to protect him.
I'm suing all of you.
After I got a degree in computer science, my brother and his 2 partners recruited me to work a summer for them. They wanted me to set up infrastructure for their new finance and investment company. By the way, this comes from user C++2017, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota,
I'm Sophia.
and OP says, one summer turned into 2 years of free work as secretary, receptionist, systems tech, personal assistant, accountant, and research analyst. They paid me 4 or 5 times, totaling between $7,000 to $8,000 over 2 years. When I left to start grad school, they were mad I wouldn't stay. When I finished grad school and put them on my resume, they lied to prospective employers about me. They denied I worked for them and said I was trying to use my brother's name to get ahead. They also accused me of visiting their office and spicily pestering female employees they never even had.
Wait, they don't even exist?
Yeah.
That's such an easy claim to dispute.
How to get sued 101. Make up lies like that.
They're like, "Oh, Stacy said OP was just the worst." And they're like, "Oh, can Stacy please make a statement?" And they're like, "Well,
And then they go, yes.
Stacy's quite shy. She goes to another school."
They go, yes, hold on one second.
Hi. OP was so rude.
I called to ask about it, and they, including my brother, just laughed and said I was getting what I deserved. Like, it's what you get when you mess with us. My counselor and other people from school, including my headmaster, not sure, helped me get a job. But I had to sue my brother and his partners for slander. My brother had called to laugh about the lawsuit when they got served, but now they're scared. My dad is pressuring me to drop it and just sit down with them to work something out. He called this, quote, big brother bullying little brother nonsense, and demanded I drop the lawsuit. He and my mom uninvited me to Thanksgiving, though my mom tried to stay out of it. I could tell this was hard for her. There's little to update legally, but I had a laptop containing client lists that my brother and his partners stole from their respective employers before starting their own company. I didn't want to turn those files over to my attorney because things were bad enough already. My girlfriend disagreed. She wanted me to absolutely crush them.
Destroy them.
I don't know if you should listen to your girlfriend here, big dog.
I think you need to do what you need to do for yourself, but I also think that pursuing a lot of legal action for the sake of legal action is going to be more like do whatever is not harmful to you. If you need to get this legal action for your job, for monetary compensation against libel, do it.
I called my attorney. I told him about the files and dropped them off at his firm on the 9th. On the 10th, I got a call saying my attorney needed to see me immediately. When I went in, he said the files would be turned over to the U.S. Attorney's Office. So it was out of our hands now.
Because they were doing something illegal?
Yeah. Okay. What he really wanted to talk about, though, was my parents. We had spoken to my dad, and he was a world-class a-hole, according to my lawyer. He's going to subpoena both parents for deposition and probably trial. He wanted me to prepare for what they might say about me and made it clear there's no turning back now. Since I didn't pay anything up front to my lawyer, his firm is financially invested and calling the shots. I think my attorney thinks I'm weak or will back off. He told me he knows my family would weaken me, but I think he underestimates me. He told me to brace for the heat my dad would bring. I said I had 2 older sisters on my side and my mother was neutral, but he assured me my mother is absolutely not neutral and told me to prepare for anything. I got phone calls from my two sisters who live about 300 miles away. They had been disgusted with my dad and brother's behavior and told me they were 100% behind me, but now they were saying my girlfriend and I were uninvited from seeing them and their children this Christmas. They said they loved me, but I needed to back off the lawsuit, which you can't anymore.
Yeah.
Because now the U.S. Attorney's Office is handling it as probably like a fraud case.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can do anymore now.
This was shocking. It didn't crush me, but it wasn't easy to hear. They won't contact me anymore and want me not to contact them. They both cried when they called, but I stayed calm. They also emailed my girlfriend about being uninvited. She blasted both of them with a scathing response, and I wish she hadn't sent it, but it's her decision. My dad is getting out of control. He confronted my girlfriend and me outside a family friend's house after a holiday get-together Sunday night. It got heated, and I said things that were probably below the belt that almost made him cry. His eyes watered as he tried not to break down. Then my girlfriend jumped in and blasted him like she did my sisters. The gloves had come off for her. My mom stayed in Dad's truck and watched, but couldn't hear anything. My attorney said my brother and his partners already closed their business. They went under. They filed puzzling and contradictory responses to our lawsuit, which surprised me because my brother is usually smarter than that. They've changed attorneys and retained a reputable firm. The first thing the new attorneys did was ask what it would take to settle. My attorney says their new lawyers are smart and know it would be a bloodbath in court. I'll just have to wait and see where it goes. But some of you commented from experience that blowback from legal battles like this tears families apart for decades.
Well, I mean, it already has.
Yeah, OP says I can see how this will probably happen. What do you think? And we have an edit, but before we get into it, yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, I mean, we already see it here. I think you need to have a conversation with your girlfriend about what kind of role you want her to take in defending you.
Yeah, I think having a sense of, loyalty to your partner's cool, but like crusading against their family members can be a little dicey if you're not on the exact same page. It feels like it's escalated a lot because of that.
Like, if I had an argument with my mom where maybe like she was in the wrong or something, I don't know if I would want like a partner to start yelling at my mom, even if she's in the wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
if I'm already laying into my dad and to the point where he's almost crying, and then you jump in and go on top of it, I'm gonna be like, stop.
I got
stop.
this. I got this.
This is my thing.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how OP feels. So like, if OP's all about this, then sure. It just feels like from that last comment where he was like, I wish you hadn't done that. I'm wondering if that's kind of the general sentiment for this.
There is an edit. Some of you asked why my sisters changed their minds. I know now that my dad helped them both buy their houses. They still owe him a lot of money. My best guess is he used that and maybe other things to coerce them into taking his side. There's a downvoted comment that says, oh man, you'd better be prepared for no family gatherings for a very, very long time. I don't think a lot of people would have gone as far as you did, and that certainly is your own choice. But who loses here now in the name of justice? Your family could lose a lot of money, and maybe they deserve it, but now there's no benefit to anybody but your attorney as far as I can deduce from the situation. You are one emotionally rock-solid human being, perhaps a little too rocky. And OP replies, they were making me unhireable. So filing the lawsuit was something I had to do to clear my name. The 4 big companies that I got interviews with all said the same thing. They said they wouldn't hire me because it looked as though I lied into my resume, and also the spicily related pesterment thing scared other companies away. I'm not suing my whole family. I'm just suing my brother and his 2 partners. They have a lot of money, but would probably wind up broke after this. My parents don't depend on my brother for money at all. I did call them repeatedly and asked them to stop, but they just laughed at me and kept charging ahead and slandering me. It just became a game to them, and they showed me zero respect. They were hoping I'd have no job to go to and would just come back and work for them again. That's what they thought would happen. And that being the case, OP deserves to fully run his brother's pockets.
Yeah.
It's, okay, you're going to torpedo my actual career? Fine. I'm going to deflect the torpedo and send it right back at you.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, I don't think, I think that was pretty clear when they tried to get him like charged for harassment and stuff.
Right.
That they were, I don't think there's any problem with him suing these people. I just think he didn't want it to go as far as it did.
It was sending over the client list.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, they're being investigated by the U.S. government for business fraud.
OP was like, whoa, I just wanted them to get
fraud.
sued for what they did to me. Yeah, I don't think there was ever any doubt that they deserved to get sued.
A deleted user says, how did you not see this coming? I mean, you of all people should know what your brother is like. OP says, this is the best and hardest question I've gotten. I always knew my brother was a little self-absorbed. I just didn't know the extent of it. Because of the age difference, I didn't associate with him much because OP is older. I think what happened here is I truly believed I was helping my brother for one summer, which quickly turned into 2 years. I knew they would be mad when I left. I knew after a few months that all three of them were complete narcissismos. I also thought that they would hate me for leaving because they relied on me so much to keep the company operating. I knew they would have to hire 5 or 6 people to replace me, and that is not an exaggeration. So I knew they would be mad. After that first year, I knew that this would end up badly between me and my brother, but I could have never guessed it would be this bad. That's why I decided to go apply for grad school. Sure enough, when I finally left, all 3 of them were really pissed at me. They had not 1 ounce of gratitude for the 2 years of free labor, but I never guessed they would slander me like that once I tried to get a job, especially because when I still was in grad school, they would call me to come in on weekends and work for them. But by then, I was waiting tables at a restaurant near school, and I had a couple of close friends who pretty much shook some sense into me because I actually considered going back to help them part-time while I finished school. I guess I should have seen more of this coming, but honestly, I was completely and utterly blindsided by them slandering me and making up the whole pesterment BS. As self-absorbed as they are, and I've never met more self-absorbed people, I truly was shocked that they came that hard at me and showed absolutely no remorse. I didn't want to go into so much detail again. There would be too much to type. But with what I'm finding out about my brother through my attorney, it's worse than I ever thought. Not paying me and slandering me was just what I knew about. But now we know that there was other stuff like fraud against me and others that I hadn't known about. Serious tax violations also against me and against the IRS, and some identity theft where he used my name on some documents that I didn't sign or even know about.
Yeah, this guy's going to jail.
Well, again,
I think that it's gone a little bit too far. Like, even if OP did settle, I think that this guy would still go to jail.
The U.S. Attorney's Office has it, you know.
They've got it handled.
The U.S. Attorney's Office is going to do what they're going to do. But in terms of your personal case, I think you should just settle.
I agree, because I think he's going to go to jail. He's going to get his kind of, you know,
he's going to go to jail.
Something's going to happen to him regardless of what you do. So I feel like if you're worried about your family dynamics, you can be like, yeah, I'm settling. You know, everything after this point is not me.
It sounds like they're right at that money level where it's like not enough money to completely avoid jail by just paying.
Yeah.
But also enough money to where the people who are prosecuting them are like, ooh, we want to take their money and make them go to jail.
Yeah.
So they're right in the danger zone. The more they dig, the worse it gets. At some point, it's almost easier to just tell them to stop digging. Let's just go with what we have. I know one thing. I was very lucky I left them when I did. Otherwise, I may have been dragged down with them and legal trouble they have coming their way. The Shine policy says, what did your girlfriend say to your dad? What did you say? OP says, I posted that in a summary in a long comment somewhere on the post, but basically, my dad questioned my morals, so I brought up stuff about him. He cheated on my mother a long time ago.
Ooh.
He got a DUI, but gave the cops his brother's name, and his brother took the rap for that about 25 years ago. Oh my God. Bag. Whoa. His brother is no longer alive, so it hurt him that I brought up how he treated his late brother. There was other stuff about him having been excommunicated from a church.
He was excommunicated?
Yeah, for ripping off many of the members when he had a small construction business, when he used his brother's license, which, by the way, my dad had his revoked for being a crook.
That's insane.
No wonder your brother had fraudulent business practices.
You were excommunicated?
For defrauding
Dang.
the congregation with your bad construction business.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
Your whole family seems like they're a little bit ugh.
Yeah. Then my girlfriend asked him how it felt to go to church 5 days a week, which he does, and then come out and be the crook that he is. She asked him what he was going to do if Judgment Day came tomorrow for him. She asked, what are you going to do? Give God your brother's name and say that he did all those things and not you?
Ooh! You know what? I'm back on the girlfriend side. I'm personally back on the girlfriend side.
Yeah, honestly, if bag Vinny over here is trying to tell me my morals are corrupted after that stuff, yeah, get him, girlfriend.
That is a clap back. Cool.
Yeah.
I like the girlfriend now.
Another commenter says, if you don't want to settle, don't do it. As said in the thread, it would be a bloodbath in front of a judge and jury. Your brother and his friends are so bizarre. Why work so hard to not pay an excellent worker or prevent you from having a real job? That makes no sense. OP says they have a very good answer for your question. Here was their reasoning. They wanted me to get licensed and bonded in their field, which I did, but I just had the license and still didn't know much about investments. They figured once I get licensed that people would flock to me and bring their portfolios. They wanted me to call all my friends' parents and anyone I knew to come see us for a free portfolio review. And then they said they would close the deal and I would make so much money that I would be swimming in it. So that's how I found out in the end that they planned on paying me all along. They figured after they made me filthy rich, they wouldn't owe anything anymore. That's how delusional they were. And that's why I finally left. They're like, we're paying you in futures that don't exist.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
You're getting Bitcoin, but like when it is useless.
Just they're paying you. We're going to pay you in the money that you'll make in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the money you owe me right now. That's the money you'd owe me in the future. That's crazy.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. There is an update from the girlfriend's perspective.
Whoa, girlfriend's perspective.
5 months later. Let me begin by saying I am not the OP. I'm his girlfriend. Woo! We live together and I read the update post. My boyfriend is moving on and wasn't going to post a last update, so I asked if I could and he said yes. Things have wrapped up. They signed a settlement agreement and now it's up to the judge to approve it. The judge won't do that for 2 more weeks, but apparently that's just a formality. The attorneys say it is a sure thing he'll approve it. As far as the settlement, I can't really disclose much, but I can say it's close to what my boyfriend was suing for in terms of money. They had transferred their houses to their wives' names, which are being sold to pay off the settlement.
Ooh, tough.
Sucks to suck, dude. Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have been a crook.
The settlement included a written apology and complete admission of guilt from all 3 defendants. They also have to write apology letters and retractions to all the employers that refused to hire my boyfriend based on their slander. I think there were 4 companies in all. All 3 had their licenses taken away and will never work as financial advisors again in any state. They also face a criminal investigation due to forged signatures on some deals, which will lead to conviction, but probably no jail time, according to the experts. Financially, they are beyond ruined, which is what I thought they deserved the whole time. I agree.
Yeah.
I know my boyfriend regrets this whole thing, and I understand that. It's still his family, and they were close at some point, but I think he's better off without them. That's easy for me to say, though. His parents are totally a lost cause. I don't think there will be a reconciliation in this lifetime after what's happened. I thought my boyfriend would be open to one when the dust settled, but now I don't. During the mediation hearings, his mom and dad both testified, and they both lied, but I knew his crooked dad was going to do that. I was just shocked that the mother lied about there having been a verbal agreement that my boyfriend would work for his brother's company in exchange for room and board at the parents' house, and that the dad had also been paying him in cash. She said she witnessed my boyfriend refusing payment from his brother many times. She lied about a lot of other very hurtful things right there while my boyfriend sat and watched her. She never looked at him, not once. His dad never looked at him either, but at least sat there the whole time after he testified to support his older son and his friends. His mother left the room crying after she testified. I was not shocked that she testified because the attorney had said she might, but I was extremely shocked about the horrible things she said about my boyfriend. She will someday regret doing that to her son. I'm sure she probably regrets it already.
Yeah, I mean, if she left the room crying, it's gonna come back to bite her.
What she did to her younger son is inexcusable. I was beyond disgusted that she had done that. She really has no clue how much damage she did to her youngest son. I doubt he'll ever get over it, and I doubt he will ever want to see her again. She lied and said disgusting things about him, and he's the only good son she has. He's the only one who doesn't owe his dad anything. He's the only one with compassion and high morals, and the only one who constantly worried about her and kept in touch with her. She messed up in the most disgusting way. How could she do that? He was there for her more than the other 3 kids put together, all for a lawsuit that she had to know they were going to lose. Her testimony did nothing to help their case whatsoever. She testified for absolutely no reason. We sent Christmas gifts to the boyfriend's sisters and their daughters. We received thank you cards in return. They haven't contacted my boyfriend since, but I have received a couple of hello emails from one of them. She never mentions my boyfriend or the family problems, just says hello and asks how I'm doing. I responded by saying we're both good and hope they're doing good as well. I'm not sure where this will go, but it's a small step in what seems like will be a long road before they're allowed by their father to reconcile with their brother, or until they have the courage to do so without their dad's blessing.
Until they pay off all the money they owe.
Exactly. Honestly, as the father, you're a crook. You're a scam artist.
You're scamming your own kids.
And you also are responsible for your son having practiced business in this way.
Yes.
There is no way he would have been a fraud had you not guided him to become one.
Bunch of frauds.
So this is really a really good opportunity for the dad to think upon his sins or his mistakes.
Well, he spends so much time in church. You would hope that he does, but
Yeah, I would hope
not quite
so.
yet.
I think both of the sisters are too embarrassed to contact my boyfriend directly. I can sense that they're trying to find a way that'll eventually lead them to him, and I think they need to just contact him, but that's not my decision to make. I keep looking at this from my perspective, and my family is really close, so it's hard to watch what's going on with his family. I just think, what the heck? Why do you do this to each other? But this is just the way it is. To be clear, I knew very early on that my boyfriend's parents were toxic. I initially just wanted him to cut all ties with them. The way they sided with the older brother, knowing how he tried to destroy his own little brother's career, told me a lot. And by the way, you can listen to a lot of full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to over 72 days worth of stories. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So we have a little bit more left here. I think, you did what you had to do.
Yeah, these people clearly, have kind of backwards morals if they're willing to sell you down the river for another son who's absolutely a criminal.
Yeah, and hey, you gonna swing like a big dog? Try swinging at the real big dog. Now you're batting against the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
You should have been maybe just a scooch nicer to the person who could, orchestrate your entire downfall.
Yep. Give him all the information.
Which
And then OP took it.
he didn't even want to do.
No.
He did not want to do this. Y'all pushed OP to this point.
All you had to do is let him put you guys on the resume. That's it. You could have avoided this entire thing.
Straight up, all you had to do was be nice. Let's finish this story. I wished back when all this started that my boyfriend would have just disowned them, but I knew that was unrealistic at the time. I knew I was emotional, and I backed off when I saw how stressed my boyfriend was. But things escalated, and now I think my boyfriend's mom has dealt a final blow to any chance of reconciliation. I'm not just saying that because I'm against it. I'm not for it, and I'm disgusted with her. But I can see the damage she did up close. I'm afraid he may never forgive her. She just went overboard in such a horrible way. I've been talking to my dad about this the whole time, and everything has turned out exactly as he said it would. Everybody, all parties, are destroyed. It's like an explosive went off and everybody got hit. And that is the end of that story.
There you go.
And folks, it's just, they were doing illegal, illicit business practices. I don't think anyone, girlfriend included, was predicting that it would be as serious as it was.
When you screw over a person who knows about all of your illegal business activities, expect for that to go poorly for you.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, I don't even know if OP knew. I don't think OP knew how
Or at
sketchy
least,
their business was. But
sure.
if you are a sketchy businessman,
Be nice to your employees.
incredibly wild move to torpedo and take shots at the person who, first of all, just helped you even set up as a business in the first place. And then, I don't know, has the ability to start litigation against you.
Silly. Good luck, OP, though.
But it's just to let it be known, like, if you're going to start down a litigation path with your family and there's bad business involved, it can get real crazy.
Yeah.
So I would always recommend, when it's family involved stuff, sitting down first and being like, look, I could do this. I don't want to do this. But if we cannot figure something out amongst ourselves, in writing, I'm going to do this.
Yep.
I think there always deserves that conversation deserves to be had, in almost in the vast majority of cases. Some things are pretty cut and dry. But anyway, that is the end of that story. My ex made our trip unbearable.
Leave me alone.
Before I, then 38 male, begin, let me add some context. My ex, 36 female at the time, and I had a good couple of years together. However, the last 2 years of the relationship were extremely rocky, to say the least. And by the way, this comes from user throwaway5673410. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where this story was submitted. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And I'm Dakota?
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't always know the answers. We just know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. And OP says, the story I'm about to unfold happened during those last 2 years. I definitely contributed to the rockiness of our relationship. I made a ton of mistakes that I deeply regret, but hindsight is always 20/20. I should also add that my ex does not share my perspective on the events I'm about to recount. I wouldn't blame anyone for taking this with a grain of salt. Okay, story time. My ex, let's call her Casey, and her cousin, at the time 24, female, let's call her Jenny, were always very close. More like sisters than cousins. They trauma bonded over similar dysfunctional upbringings and were inseparable until Casey relocated. I had met Jenny multiple times, and we got along famously whenever we crossed paths. Jenny and her boyfriend had newly relocated to Denver and were adjusting to a brand new city and state. Casey wanted to visit as sort of a housewarming thing and invited me to come along. She said she would pay for our plane tickets, and all I'd have to pay for was my own food or miscellaneous items I wanted to grab for myself. I liked Jenny quite a bit and also loved Colorado, so I enthusiastically agreed to come. Typically, Casey and I traveled well together. Outside of the usual stress that comes with traveling, we always seemed to make the best of everything, even when things went sideways. Not this time. Oh, no. Looking back, I can see this trip was doomed from the start. While we were packing, Casey offered to make room in her suitcase for both our things. Since our flight allowed one free checked suitcase, I casually said that wasn't necessary. I have my own suitcase and planned to take that. Casey didn't respond. She didn't seem annoyed from what I could tell, and I was usually good at noticing if she was upset about something or annoyed. She just seemed to shrug and let it go. The day of the trip arrived. We pulled up to the airport, a little behind and stressed out due to unexpected heavy traffic. We checked our bags, grabbed our tickets, and made our way through TSA. We were speed walking to the terminal when this idiot who was running behind us basically body-checked Casey out of his way and kept sprinting ahead as if he hadn't almost knocked a stranger to the ground. I grabbed Casey to keep her from falling and yelled after the stranger, "What the F, man? Hey!" I wanted to run after him and confront the guy, but I stayed to make sure Casey was okay. The guy was out of sight by the time I could have gone after him. And who was Casey mad at? Me.
What for? What'd you do?
Should have had the sixth sense active, dude.
Should have been like guys running at her, and you go pick her up, and then you go.
Yeah, she was like, "Why didn't you hit him with the atomic elbow?"
Yeah, you go
straight. Yeah, yeah. So she's mad at me, not the guy who nearly knocked her down. I was the a-hole for yelling after the guy. I was gobsmacked, literally speechless. She berated me all the way to the terminal. Since we were rushing to get to the terminal on time and things were already tense, I kept my mouth shut and apologized. We got to the plane on time and boarded without further incident. Casey ignored me the whole way to Denver. I felt it was best to leave her alone and kept silent the entire flight. We landed and made our way to baggage claim. The belt at our claim wasn't moving and seemed to be taking forever. Casey wasn't talking to me at the moment, so I pulled out my phone and started playing a game. Once the belt started moving and suitcases came our way, I put my phone away. I didn't know it at the time, but playing on my phone had only infuriated Casey more. She was silently fuming beside me while I obliviously tapped away. I would get an earful about this later. We got our bags and headed to meet Jenny and her boyfriend outside. Casey lightened up when she saw her cousin, and the mood was generally lighthearted on the way to their home. Once we arrived, we ordered pizza and were catching up. Jenny asked what we wanted to do while we were there. Since everyone hemmed and hawed, not really coming up with any ideas, I suggested we could find some scenic outlooks and take pictures together. I recommended a trip into the mountains to find a lookout with a good view of the Continental Divide. No one but me had any idea what the Continental Divide even was. They all peppered me with questions about it and where it was. I answered as best as I could. I honestly thought everyone took my suggestion more seriously than I had meant them to. Since Casey loves taking tons of pictures when she travels, I thought that would be a viable option, So much confusion and discussion about the Continental Divide followed that I wished we could drop it and discuss other options.
Everyone was like, Continental Divide.
Continental
I've never
Divide.
thought about the Continental Divide before. But I don't know, maybe we should go, but the Continental Divide. And he's like, honestly, I don't even want to go to the Continental Divide anymore. I don't even know why I brought it up. Once you take the Continental Divide out of Pandora's box, can't put it back in.
It's really, I don't understand how there could be that much discussion about it. It's very simple. It's
Yeah.
just a part of the Rockies that split the country in half, basically.
And there you freaking go.
Yeah. It was getting late, so Casey and I made our way to our hotel. We checked in and settled into our room. The mood seemed to have lightened, and we chatted amicably about nothing before going to bed. I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought the start of the trip was turbulent, but I believed Casey and I were fine and would move on from the crappy parts of the day. How wrong I was. I woke up to see that Casey was already moodily sipping coffee. I said good morning and tried to snuggle her like we did every morning. Casey was stiff and unresponsive. I asked her what was wrong. She sighed in exasperation and launched into how awful this trip already was. She was furious with me for taking my own luggage, saying I should have known that she wanted to check 2 pieces of her luggage so she could have plenty of room for items we would buy on the trip.
I think that she's just expecting you to read her mind. And I feel like a lot of this frustration and stuff is actually coming from something else.
Yeah.
Because she's getting mad at you for a lot of silly stuff.
It's like, why didn't you could have just said that that's what you wanted to do, and it would have been like, oh, okay. But instead you said nothing. She was also annoyed that I would bury my face in my phone the whole trip. She thought it was rude of me to suggest we go out of our way to do what I wanted while being Jenny's guest. She was referring to my suggestion of taking scenic pictures around the Continental Divide. At this point, I was done not defending myself. I argued back that she had plenty of room in her suitcase and mine for items we wanted to bring back. If she wanted to take her own luggage and not mine, she should have said something. I also pointed out that if I was on my phone at any point, it was during idle moments, and she was giving me the silent treatment anyway. As for the Continental Divide, it was only a suggestion since no one else was coming up with anything. Casey didn't address any of my points, just repeating herself, calling me rude and inconsiderate. This went on for hours. Finally, we were at an impasse and needed to get ready to meet Jenny and her boyfriend for brunch and shopping. Not all of the trip was bad. Some highlights included brunch, shopping, visiting dispensaries, and dancing in a go-go club where Casey's friend was a dancer. We also went out with Casey's go-go dancer friend who lived there. Those were enjoyable moments. However, the highlights were far and few between. Outside of a handful of fun activities, I could do nothing right. It was one of those situations where one mistake leads to an avalanche of other mistakes. I sheepishly admitted that scenic outlooks were a bad idea and suggested we do something else. Jenny's boyfriend suggested hiking. That was a bad idea. It was still spring in Colorado, and the weather was chilly and icy. The trails were likely covered in snow and ice. None of us were equipped for a long hike on icy Colorado trails. Still, everyone thought this idea was the best idea ever. I went along to keep Casey's glaring eyes off of me. I won't say it was a disaster because the hike was short. The trails were uphill and covered in ice and snow. Jenny had chucks on her feet, which caused her to fall repeatedly.
She brought
Welcome
chucks?
to Denver. Well, they just moved there.
Oh.
They don't know yet.
She didn't have those snowshoes yet?
Welcome to Denver.
Put your
Can't wear
snowshoes
chucks on
on.
the iced out trail.
They got no traction.
The ice road.
No, sir. Can't wear your Converse.
The rest of us didn't have much better footwear, We all ended up on our butts or faces at some point. We gave it up after a quarter of a mile and just went back to Jenny's house to watch The Office. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this with Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just use your thumbs and search OK Storytime.
Use them or you'll lose them.
Or voice dictation, or like you can have like a secretary do it for you.
Just another
Pull
person.
it up on your smart
Any other person
TV.
do it.
And maybe you type with your index finger. You can listen to everything
Any
we've
finger
ever
you
said in our
like.
whole lives. Anyway, there's a little bit more story left.
I'm just wondering why she's making all of these freaking like comments and getting mad at everything. It just feels like she's got a short fuse right now.
This whole thing makes me feel like, the root of this issue is just like, it doesn't really have anything to do with the trip or the stress of the traveling. It's really just like, I think you and your wife have a problem.
Think she's got a problem.
She's got a problem, and she doesn't like to talk
Yeah. So
in a
she's just
real way.
blaming
She
you.
just likes to throw stuff at you. I mean,
Yep.
for God's sake, somebody knocked her down at the airport and you yelled at him and she got mad at
Yeah, she was
you
like,
for
"What?
that?
Why did you do that?
She got mad at you for yelling at the guy who knocked her down?
Make it make sense.
Where are we at?
What's the world
That doesn't
coming
make
to?
any sense. The rest of the trip, outside of the few highlights, was spent in tense silence or fighting between Casey and me. It was a 5-day trip, and by day 4, I couldn't wait to go home. My anxiety was through the roof as I constantly walked on eggshells. My poor morale was likely noticeable to everyone because Casey still hasn't let me live down how much of a downer I was. Did my best to put on a happy face, but couldn't help keeping my mouth shut and going with the flow. Finally, the trip ended, and Casey and I returned home. This trip was brought up countless times afterward. It became her favorite story to throw in my face when we fought. After we broke up, she told me Jenny was relieved, saying I was controlling and had a habit of bringing the mood down. Jenny thought I was way out of line for pressuring everyone to take scenic pictures of that landmass I had suggested.
I'm
It
sorry,
shall
she
not
said-
be named.
She said you were way out of line for being like, hey, you guys should take pictures. You should go take pictures.
Yeah, you were way out of line for suggesting
You were
going
way out of
somewhere that is
line.
iconic to go to.
And
Very
that everyone
controlling.
wanted to
Yeah.
go to.
That they've never heard of, by the way. You're like, what's that?
If you go to
Yeah.
Arapahoe Basin and ski and snowboard there, you can actually ride the Continental Divide.
Okay, Billy Time
very
says,
cool.
yes, no advice from Californians. Me and Keon are the only.
But
Dakota's
it
got
snows here.
Dakota's
Not
got
here.
good. Yeah.
I was literally a snowboard instructor.
Yeah, Dakota's got good
Billy
snow
Time.
advice.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tahoe.
I certainly don't, but I just have kind of like good sense.
Good
Tahoe,
what?
Big
Sense.
Bear.
Like,
Sense. I've got the good sense to know that you shouldn't wear chucks. In
oh,
the
I thought
snow.
you were saying that like your expertise was scent.
I got a sniffer.
You're like, I'm not big into the ice
a
and the snow,
sniffer?
but when it comes to smells, I've got you.
Yeah,
got-
I know all
sniffer?
the smells that you want to smell.
I know everything.
I feel like you'd be good with smells. Anyway,
I'm very sensitive to smell, actually.
yeah, that's why she was hunting down the fleas by scent.
Yeah, I'd be like, I
She
can
would walk into a
smell
room and
ya.
go,
They're in here.
There's a flea in this room.
Fly, flow,
And they shall flee from me.
okay, sorry. Casey and I are cordial now. However, I still hear about the Continental Divide suggestion as the worst idea ever.
Dude,
What a bunch of
gosh.
dorks. What a bunch of lamos don't want to go to the
Gosh.
Continental Divide when you're in Denver.
So messed up.
I'm dumping my girlfriend because she openly disagrees with my mother?
What'd your mother say?
My girlfriend, Rachel, 24 female, and I, 26 male, have been together for 8 months. We recently made a trip out west for a little over a week's vacation. Our last stop was paying a visit to my parents. This was the first time my girlfriend met them. We stayed over at their place for a couple of days before returning home. By the way, this comes from user throwaway 81215, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. And OP says, when we arrived at my parents' house, my mom said that she got our room ready and to go ahead and make ourselves at home and relax and go in the hot tub if we wanted. Hot tub.
AITA.
Rachel acted surprised and said something like, "You mean we get to stay in our own bedroom together? Wow, my parents would never allow that unless we're married." My mom laughed and said that they were thinking of taking us out for dinner later tonight if we would like, and just, let her know when we'd like to go. We did our own thing for a few hours, fooled around like sneaky teenagers do. I felt good about being back home with Rachel. We all drove together to the restaurant and chatted about what we did on vacation and reminisced about the neighborhood. At dinner, Rachel started talking about marriage and kids and said something like, "I have to have kids before I hit 30. It doesn't matter for guys, though, but us women can't procrastinate." It was a little awkward. I wasn't sure if Rachel was just nervous or didn't realize my parents had me when they were older or just didn't care. My parents didn't say much, but I know that they weren't particularly impressed by Rachel.
Okay, that's rude, but you can have kids later, but like there is a more incentive for women to have kids earlier because you can have more health, problems.
True.
Yeah, but I guess that would be rude I guess it depends on how she said it.
I think it was just already weird being like, "Oh, really? My parents would never let us do that." It's like,
It depends on how she's saying it. If she's like, "Geez, my parents would never let us stay."
yeah,
Or if she was like, "Well, I want to have kids soon."
I don't think OP would say that if it
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
weird.
weird. Yeah.
If she was just being funny, like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Depends.
When we got back to our own room for the night, I asked Rachel why she brought that up and did she know that my mom had me when she was older. She said she knew and that she doesn't agree with my mom's priorities.
Now she's weird. And so now I was just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. She's weird now because people can have babies whenever they want. It's just obviously it's going to be harder when you're older.
She said she knew that she doesn't agree with my mom's priorities and that my parents are too liberal.
Okay, no benefit of the doubt for you, Rachel.
The next day, we returned back to the other coast. I love my parents, and my mom is amazing. I like Rachel's frankness. I always found it refreshing, but she just came across tactless to me. I'm kind of bugged by Rachel's behavior. It's weird, but I feel like her not respecting my mom means she doesn't respect me. I think this is grounds for breaking up, but I'm not sure if I'm being irrational. Any advice or thoughts? And we do have some comments.
Honestly, you guys are 8 months into it. She's showing you that you guys have different values. I feel like you're just not the right match.
First time meeting the parents.
Yeah, and
you're like, "No, I was trying to make your mom feel bad about having kids when she was older."
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'd be like,
crazy.
Yeah, anyone who's like, "Yeah, no, I actively went out of my way." It's different if it's like, oh, maybe there's like a contentious relationship. Maybe you're defending your partner from their parents.
But
if you're just going out of your way
she did it twice.
Yeah.
She did it twice. And it's clear that she has a lot more conservative values. But instead of being respectful and being like, well, that's just how I want it, she's actively trying to make your parents feel bad for not having those same values. And if you don't have those same values, then it's like not going to work.
I can't imagine ever pulling it.
Crazy.
We do have some comments. From Longo Bongo. OP, read this comment 10 times. I'm only going to read it once, though, because I'm not OP. It is absolutely baffling to me that your girlfriend would dare call your parents too liberal when she was reaping the benefits of them being too liberal while she was there. Your girlfriend is rude, and I would feel embarrassed if my significant other treated my parents that way. Miss Misfit says, your girlfriend is rude, and I would feel embarrassed if my significant other treated my parents that way. Forget about the too liberal comment. She scolded his mom for having a late-in-life baby. She should be thanking her for bringing him into the world, not condemning her. And that's aside from how crazy rude it is to comment on someone else's reproductive choices, period. Vengeance Pigeon says, your real problem is that you and Rachel appear to come from different backgrounds in terms of values, and that she clearly believes her family values are inherently superior. She was lightly rude to your parents in person, based on this account, and really rude in private when speaking about your mother's choices to you. It's clear she only respects people who agree with her. Think about how that's going to play out as your relationship becomes more serious. And there is an update. I hope it's a breakup update.
Me too. Yeah, I just don't think this relationship is, You're only 8 months in. I think you've realized that you're not a match, and that's fine.
openly telling me you went
Yeah.
out of your way to try to upset my own mother?
Yeah. Bye.
Over not just like, oh yeah, she like likes the wrong sports team.
No.
It's like, yeah, over the time frame she had a baby at
Yeah.
during her life.
Crazy.
You are done
Yeah.
with me.
That's it.
Crazy. Update. I was trying to downplay my concerns about the incidents at my parents' place. I met up with Rachel at her place before, maybe heading for dinner together. I let her know that I wanted to talk about what she said about my mom during vacation, and I'm just going to provide a dialogue about what was exchanged to make it easier for me and hopefully less confusing. Me. I'm still trying to understand why you said what you said at dinner and why you are in such disagreement with my mom. Rachel. It's so weird how good looking your dad still is. What?
Sorry, you said you brought up a concern and then she, instead of responding to that concern, said, your dad's hot. Your daddy's hot. And you said, what? Okay.
It's so weird how good looking your dad still is. He could have been a model when he was younger.
Oh.
Your mom is not anywhere in the same league as your dad? Me.
That's insane.
Ugh, I don't understand what you're talking about. Rachel, I think it's odd that they're together. It's creepy. Rachel, come here. You're creepy. You're a weirdo for that, Rachel.
You're a weirdo.
Your partner goes,
Media breakup.
I would like to talk about why you said what you said about my mom. And you go, your dad is a smoke show.
Your dad's a stone cold 10. Your mom shouldn't be with them. And I hate your parents together and their relationship. Oh, no.
My parents love each other. I don't get the problem you have. I think that you purposefully brought up having kids earlier than my mom to criticize her. Rachel, well, I don't like your mom. I don't have to like her. Actually,
Be in a relationship with
you kind of are going to have to at least like my mom a little bit if we're going to be in a relationship.
Which we're not going to be, so it's fine. You can keep on not liking her because I'm never seeing you again.
That's crazy. The rest of the conversation was more teeth pulling. I had already given thought about what happened last week, and I guess I share a chapter or two from my parents' book. I want to feel confident about my partner. Rachel gives me doubt, not comfort. A lot of comments mentioned that I may have been oblivious, and what I initially perceived as frankness was likely always tactlessness, and that I may have not noticed it was tactless because I was in agreement. I think these were factors, but I also didn't agree with Rachel always on her opinions. I just didn't disagree either. I broke up with Rachel last night. Her parting words were, a mama's boy is just plain ugly, and you're cursed with your mom's looks.
Jesus. What? Bye. That's it. That's it. And that's a wrap, folks.
And by the way, you can always look for more full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast app, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just search OK Storytime. And you can hear even more unhinged nonsense like this. Can you believe this?
That's crazy. That's absolutely wild.
First of all, I don't think you're anywhere close to mama's boy territory.
No, because you said, hey, don't criticize my mom for having a baby later.
What is up with her? Like, that's like a
No.
complex.
No, I genuinely think she's fought, like, she saw the dad, fell in love with him or infatuation with him, and then was like, oh my God, I need to break up their marriage and I need to break up with my boyfriend so that I can get with his dad.
A mama's boy is just plain ugly. I don't know exactly what to call the girlfriend who says your dad is too hot for your mom, but whatever that person is way uglier than a mama's boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Goodbye.
You did good, OP. Sheesh. Let's finish this story. There's an edit here. So I rang my parents to let them know I broke up with Rachel.
Yay.
I spoke to my dad first, and he said, you made a good decision. She was dumber than a box of hair. Which is not a phrase. Now I'm upset at your hot dad,
No,
because that's not a phrase.
But he's so hot that he can come up with whatever he says.
He's just like John Hamm from 30 Rock.
I actually personally love coming up with random phrases. I go like, oh, she's slower than a,
She's slower than a jar of molasses in the winter.
exactly.
But that's a phrase.
But you
That
can come up
makes
with-
sense.
You can come with anything, man.
I guess a box of hair would
Pretty
be dumb.
Yeah.
But like, where does that come from? Molasses is slow in the winter because it's viscous, and when it's
Just
cold, it's
dumb.
thicker.
Hair is dumb. You can't think.
Hair's just the stuff that's on the head. It's the brain inside that does the thought.
It's freaking dumb. She's slower than a tar spill.
Is a box of hair just a way to say someone without a brain? Because
I
it's
don't
like
know.
the hair on their head just
You
goes
can
into
say
their
literally
skull.
make anything afraid.
Can try. That's the only thing I can think. I am so
Anyway.
mad at your hot dad.
He's too hot.
Ah.
That's so hot.
Then I spoke to my mom, and she asked why I ended it. I told her that she was too irrational and contradictory. She wasn't convinced that was the entire reason, so I told her everything since she has a pretty thick skin. She had a real good laugh and said that Rachel's just a mean girl, and she's
Yeah.
glad that it didn't take me longer than 8 months to work that one out. And she also told my dad that he's still got it.
Yeah.
We have some final comments here. D-Cult says her parting words, a mama's boy is just plain ugly and you're cursed with your mom's looks. It so seldom happens that our life decisions are validated so immediately and unambiguously.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards. Smittit says, that line is so much cringe, I can barely stand it. She's trying to insult him in verse? What? Not a bird, not a plane. Downvoted says, to be fair, that was a sick burn.
Was it though?
Not really, though.
It wasn't really a sick burn at
You're-
all.
You're a mama's boy,
It's just
and also you're
really-
ugly like your mom is
It's
like,
pretty bad burn.
that's pretty like 3rd grade
yeah.
level like burnage.
Not really 3rd degree, more like 3rd grade.
Hey, and that's called a clever joke, word pun, cleverness.
You're that hot, Dad.
Stop it. I want that. He's my hot dad.
He's mine.
I love boxes of hair, even though they're dumb. OP says, hey, I thought so too. I actually have been laughing over it. I agree that her last words were a favor to me. I won't be second guessing this breakup. She sent me a bunch of texts today saying she didn't mean anything and to give her another chance to explain. I'm tired of how contradictory she is, and I don't feel obligated to listen to another explanation. She's already crossed the line of no return. Another downvoted comment says, good riddance, really. One thing, though, that I think is worth for you to consider, no need to even reply, just want you to think about it, really. After your first post, I was left thinking that she seemed like one of those people who will bring up things she doesn't agree with just to be antagonistic. I still think she is that kind of person and that it is great for you to have broken up with her. But her parting words and the fact that she seems to flat out resent your mom and not your dad make me wonder if in the time you've been together, you have not done or said stuff that had made her feel that way. What? If you have, that is also not necessarily a bad thing. She may just be insecure, and hearing you talk positively about your mom made her jealous and resent her, which again says it's a good thing for you to break up with her.
I don't know what this commenter's
But
saying.
there is the chance that you are too attached to your mom and that it shows in the way you talk and act. And that is why she felt this way.
No.
Which, even if that was the case, the way Rachel handled it was crappy
Yeah.
and you're still better off. What are you talking about?
This makes no sense.
You're like, on the one hand, it could have been your fault, but even if it was,
It's still her
you
fault.
should have broken up with her. But also, it's something to think about that if you like your mom too much, it might make your partner kind of upset. But also, if your partner ever gets upset because you like your mom, you should break up with them.
Yeah, that was a
Why
nonsense
did you make
comment.
this comment?
Stupid comment.
I see why it was downvoted.
Dumber than a box of hair.
I tell you what, whoever wrote that comment, dumber than a box of hair. Would you like me yet, OP's hot dad?
Peace out, Dad. Do you like us?
Do you like me? And also, will you tell me all of your secrets to how you stay so hot?
Tell me your secrets.
Do you have a box full of hair?
Yeah.
OP replies to this commenter, I live on the East Coast over 2,000 miles away from my parents. We don't have an extremely close relationship, but I email them often and call them once a week or every other week depending. My mom and I share the same profession, and my parents used to live in the same city I reside in now. Maybe Rachel viewed those commonalities as my being too influenced by my mom, but I feel like that'd be a stretch. And again, that's the end of that story, but that commenter said that if you should have broke up with her anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's
whatever.
nonsense comment.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Good on you.
I think there's
Yeah,
a
broke up.
certain, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't have siblings, but I think siblings are allowed to be mean and make fun of each other at a clip that other people can't. So it's like, sometimes, I don't know. You guys probably don't really do that, but it's like, yeah, it's like you can kind of like give your sibling like a lot of crap, but as soon as somebody else does, you're like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Hey, cool your jets.
That's my
Yeah.
brother. That's my sister. I can say they're
What did you say
annoying.
about my brother?
You stop talking, running your mouth about my sister.
Yeah.
Same thing with, with parentals.
Yeah.
With,
Like,
I
I complain about my mom. Don't talk about my mommy that way.
talking about my mom. I know my mom's annoying. You don't know my mom like that.
I know my mom.
You're just assuming she's annoying, which is true, but you need to meet her first.
She's actually a real nice lady.
Let the records show that my mom is not annoying most of the time and that she's a wonderful woman.
And you can't talk about it. Like,
Hey, you're not allowed to say anything about my mom except that she's cool and awesome.
don't even look her in the eyes.
But that is the end of that story.
And we gotta.
I do find it difficult to look your mother in the eyes. She is intimidating.
Oh, my mom.
But that is the end of that story. We have another one coming right up.
We sure do.
My girlfriend ruined my favorite sweater because she thinks my ex is hotter.
If you want to destroy my sweater, pull this thread as I walk away.
My 28 male really, really loved this sweater. It was smart casual with a striped pattern from a fancy Italian brand. I could wear it to work as well as for an evening out. And I really liked how I looked in it. I'm really, really pissed to lose it.
It's from a fancy Italian brand.
Exactly.
Ferrari.
By the way, this comes from Throwaway Argyle, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie,
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, so we're just going to guess what we would do in these situations, but we don't have all the answers, so let us know what you would do in the comments below. OP says, background on the relationship. My girlfriend is Hannah, 27 female. We met because we live on the same street and used to have our pre-work morning coffee at the same cafe. Our coffee meetups slowly turned into dates, and we've officially been a couple for about 6 months. I like her. She's sweet and smart and pretty. But we are taking it slow since both of us are coming off of terrible breakups. She broke up with her fella of 10 years. Wow.
A 10-year fella.
Yeah. Their relationship ended in a hail of fights and petty behavior, which tore apart their friends and pissed off their families. The reasons were never clear to me. All Hannah said was that all of their relationship problems came up at the same time and everything unraveled. My breakup was kind of different. Haley, also 27 female, and I never really officially dated, but we had been friends for a very long time. We slept together once when we were both between relationships, but we were sure that we worked better as friends. 2 years back, Haley broke up from a bad relationship and we got into a semi-official friends with benefits situation. We would still hang out and talk as friends, but once in a while, we'd also have some form of physical intimacy. Both of us also got really busy with our careers, so we never really had other romantic relationships. Around Christmas 2015, Haley brought up our relationship and told me that she was falling for me as more than a friend and wanted to explore a relationship with me. I didn't. So I had my own reasons, mainly that we had some fundamentally mismatched views on life that would make a relationship really hard. We worked really well as friends, and she was really important to my life, and I didn't want to jeopardize that by getting into a relationship. Well, I still lost that friendship. She essentially went no contact, and no matter how much I hated it, I couldn't really say much since it was a reasonable thing for her to do for her own sake. But it really hurt. Losing her as a friend hurt way more than a breakup I've ever had, and it took me a while to find my footing. Hannah knew the basic details about my and Haley's relationship and wasn't too curious about it. She also knew that I had a few things that Haley had given me but never raised an issue about it, especially since she had a bunch of gifts from her ex as well. This Christmas, I accompanied Hannah to her office Christmas party. To my surprise, Haley was also there.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
What? Turns out she started working there recently at a different department from Hannah's. We exchanged pleasantries and tried some small talk, but it was awkward and lasted maybe 3 minutes, most of which was silence. Then Haley left early and I didn't see her again. While I talked to Haley, Hannah was somewhere else, and when she came back, I told her about it. She had never met her before, big company, but her curiosity was piqued. In any case, I got into a jovial party mood and everything went back to normal. Until last Friday. When I was at work, I got a flurry of texts from Hannah basically saying that she finally met Haley. Now, you should know that Haley is really attractive. like modeling offers since she was 16 attractive. Plus, her job also means that she's always dressed to unalive, event manager for high-end corporate parties. Okay, interesting. Well, seeing Haley did a number on Hannah. She didn't come out and say it, but she suddenly got extremely curious about Haley as well as our relationship, with a lot of questions about everything. She even specifically mentioned the sweater, saying, "No wonder you love that sweater so much." That's no good. That's no good. I tried my best to assuage her insecurities. I told her that there was absolutely nothing between Haley and me. We haven't even talked to each other in more than a year, except for 3 awkward minutes during that party. I also told her that I really liked her and could see our relationship going pretty far. But I was also low-key annoyed with the whole conversation. Anyways, Hannah slept over Saturday night, and I thought we had gotten somewhat past this momentary burst of jealousy. Then she left early on Sunday morning, saying something had come up even though we had plans to spend the day together. In the evening, I was going through my laundry and I saw the sweater with a big hole in the armpit, like someone had tried to literally pull it apart with their bare hands. Now it's obvious that it was Hannah's doing. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just a piece of clothing. Like, it doesn't mean I'm, like, in love with the person who gave it to me.
Right.
Or that it's associated with.
Yeah, I have clothes for my ex, and it's just kind of like, well, free clothes. That's all it is to me, you know?
Their clothes.
I'm sure it's the same for OP, but not for Hannah, I guess.
It's like, it's not like it's a sweater that's like XOXO from Haley, your
Right.
favorite girl in the universe.
She didn't make it for you. That would be different.
If it was a sweater that had a big, like, Haley and OP forever XOXO on it, that would make more sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you wear that sweater from your ex, and he's like, "I love this sweater. I haven't washed it because it smells like him."
Yeah,
or
exactly.
her.
And it's like, that's just not
And then that's where
the
you're like,
case. He
That's
just
a little
likes it.
concerning.
yeah.
But now the idea of, like, it looking like it had been tried to rip apart with your bare hands, I'm just imagining, like, the mental breakdown that Hannah was having. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
we don't like that. I had worn that sweater on Thursday, and when I put it aside for dry cleaning, it was fine. No one else had come to my flat since then. I texted her asking about it directly. May not have been the best tactic, but I was incredibly pissed off. She was defensive from the get-go, denying that she did it, coming up with various ways that could have happened, and continuously telling me that I was an a-hole for thinking she was crazy like that. This morning, she texted me all pissed and curt and told me that yes, the provenance of the sweater bothered her, but she didn't do it. I think I need to dump her. But I've been second-guessing myself a fair bit as well. Hannah has always been really sweet and is very caring and sensitive about my feelings. I really like her, and we don't have any fundamental differences. We can genuinely have a good, fulfilling relationship, and maybe this ripping up a sweater thing was just a momentary lapse of judgment, which she is extremely embarrassed about, and hence her defensiveness. But what do you think? And we do have some relevant comments, but what do you think, Dakota and Keon?
I think I would have liked it more if she had just owned it
Yeah.
and been like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. I hate that sweater.
Right.
I hate that sweater. I don't like that girl. I don't like the sweater.
Yeah. I still would be worried.
Do you not like
But
the
at least-
sweater, or do you not like what the sweater stands for?
Exactly. Just be
Yeah,
honest.
but it just stands for a good sweater
Yeah.
It's
from
just-
OP's perspective.
It stands for comfortability.
Yeah. And I feel good in it because it fits me well. That's
And
all.
if you don't like me when I feel good, you might like me when I feel bad.
Yeah.
It is
Mm-mm.
expensive in Italian.
Exactly.
Let me have this.
Exactly.
Please let me have this.
Yeah. I feel like even her texts before is like already a red flag of her freaking
Yeah.
out at the fact that Haley's pretty. It's like, girl, well, you're pretty too. Quit it. You know?
Like, yeah, there's always going to be someone prettier than you or someone,
Yeah.
right? There's theoretically someone out there who's the prettiest person on earth.
Sure. But we do have some relevant comments. One commenter says, I can't imagine dating someone who would fly into a jealous rage and destroy my property because an old ex was attractive. That's really insane. Reagan says, my ex, who I have a 5-year-long restraining order against, destroyed a dozen items of my clothing by tearing holes in them in a jealous rage. Only backcrap effing crazy a-holes do this. Don't date anyone who does. Howie Makeham says, if she ripped a hole in your sweater because you used to date an attractive woman, I'm guessing the breakup won't be pleasant. And we do have an update of 10 days later. Do we think this is going to be a breakup update?
I think so.
Yeah, I hope so. Since it's been 10 days and the matter has been settled in a satisfactory manner, I thought I'd update you guys as to the final conclusion. I've had a few pints, so forgive the disjointedness. We got some frequently asked questions. It was a Loro Piana jumper.
A what?
A Loro Piana.
Oh,
look at
no,
that.
you mean a loro piana.
Yeah. There you go. It's not repairable. I asked around. My evidence for knowing that Hannah was the culprit is circumstantial but compelling. Firstly, after I put it in a pile meant for dry cleaning, it was covered by a bunch of other stuff. When I discovered its tattered remains, it was bunched up in a ball on top of the pile. Secondly, the tear was 8 inches long, something I would have noticed quite comfortably if it had happened while I was wearing it or while I put it in the laundry pile. Thirdly, while it was torn, it was also stretched completely out of shape. The stretching would be consistent with someone grabbing 2 sides of it and pulling it apart. Most convincingly, when I confronted Hannah, aggressively I admit, she started telling me about all the alternative ways in which the damage could have happened with exact knowledge of the type of damage that my poor jumper had suffered. Yeah, that's a giveaway. I had never mentioned the type of damage, namely that it was in the armpit area along the seam, along with the stretching. That sounds like the type of damage, but maybe there were other details that she was referencing. To the lady who sent me a very heartfelt and foul-mouthed rant/plea, yes, I think people have every right to feel insecure or inadequate. Yes, people have every right to act like an idiot. Yes, I have done stupid things due to my lack of control over my emotions. And yes, I'm weird or materialistic enough to love a jumper more than the woman I'm dating. But no, I don't think she deserves my forgiveness for this slip up. I bet that commenter was the girlfriend.
Yeah, just the girlfriend in incognito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the point. The point is that she like destroyed this thing out of jealousy and
Yeah.
lied about it.
Yeah.
And probably knew what she was, I assume she knew how expensive it was.
Probably.
And yeah, it's just whack. It's just a
It's
whack
whack,
thing
dude.
to do.
Whack thing to do. And that is because it wasn't the insecurity, it wasn't the lack of control, and it wasn't the materialism that made me want to break up. It was the lying and deceitful manner in which she behaved afterwards.
Yeah.
It was the insanely manipulative way in which she turned herself into the victim and demanded an apology from me. And yeah, the cursing directed at me didn't help. The story is fairly dramatic as well as anticlimactic. Her curt behavior after my ill-fated confrontation lasted for 2 days. Then she called about 40 times to beg me for forgiveness. Even though I avoided the calls, I did hear the voicemails and my empathy was piqued. She also pretty much admitted to her guilt in some of those messages. But then I also came to know that preceding those calls, she had lashed out towards Haley, my ex-friend / friends with benefits, at their workplace, and that it was ugly as well as having potential to spiral negatively for her career. That made me feel really bad for Haley. She didn't deserve to be dragged into drama that she played no active role in. But you deserve to be dragged into full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but I think all of the behavior before he confronted her is something I would break up over for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I have opened a little door,
Yeah.
a little crack in the door of what I'm going to be getting down the line if we
Yeah.
continue with this.
Yeah.
So, like
I
I
know.
said, like if she would have just been like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that sweater. And I hate that girl.
Yeah.
And I hate that you wear the sweater that girl got you.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, well, so I don't like that.
Talk
but
about that.
thanks for, I guess, telling me you did this. It's not very cool.
Yeah.
I'd still
I'd
probably
still-
break up. Let's
I'd
be
still probably
honest.
break
I'd
up.
still break up with her.
But there is a little bit more to the story. The anticlimactic part is that I didn't even have to break up with Hannah. She has essentially moved in with her parents up north. She sent me a message through a mutual acquaintance stating that she realizes she has quite a few issues she needs to handle from her breakup with her ex-fiance, and that our decision to date was pretty much doomed from the start.
Okay, well, look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
She knows.
I wished her the best of luck with her journey. Another mutual acquaintance approached me, this time one between me and Haley. She sent word apologizing for her role in my relationship meltdown. I told her that there was nothing to apologize for on her end. I also asked for her forgiveness for inadvertently causing workplace dramatics, and that's that. There are some relevant comments. One person says, I looked at what a Loro Piana charges for stuff. Whoa, that's an expensive jumper. I think, therefore I think, says, for anyone wondering why it's so expensive, still, some manufacturers are known for their regular use of Mongolian cashmere, like Loro Piana. Quote, Loro Piana is one of the highest end cashmere producers in the world. Rush says they have their own herds that they control. Oh, wow. They're completely in charge of that environment, and the animals are being treated so well. The goats are really thriving. You can't just bring the goats to Italy, where Loro Piana is based, because they won't produce the same kind of cashmere as they do in Inner Mongolia, where the climate and environment is perfectly suitable for the best cashmere. And that's the end of that story.
My girlfriend threw a fit just because I wouldn't lend her my expensive keyboard.
I'm gonna say Control Alt Delete.
My girlfriend and I, both 26, got in a fight about this 2 nights ago, and she's making it seem like I'm being an a-hole. We've been dating for around 4.5 months. By the way, this comes from user Tough Volcano, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, my girlfriend has a 2013 Lenovo laptop that has seen better days. As it stands right now, among some other issues, her keyboard totally doesn't work. Because of this, she always uses a small Bluetooth keyboard with her laptop. She had texted me the next morning saying that her wireless keyboard had stopped working as well. We had already planned for me to stay the night at her place after I got off work, so I offered to stop by my place on the way to grab her a keyboard, as I have a few extras. When I got to her place, she was eagerly awaiting the keyboard, which makes sense, as she wasn't able to use her computer for most of the day. But when I handed her the keyboard, she started getting really quiet and pouty. A bit later, when I asked her what was wrong, she said she thought I'd be bringing her something nicer, like the keyboard I have at my desk. The thing is, I have a really nice keyboard at my desk. I'm a programmer, and I love this keyboard so much that I also bring it to work with me. I have even specific macro profiles for it that definitely improve my workflow. For context, I had an extra Amazon Basics keyboard, around $15 lying around, still brand new and in the box. My personal keyboard, which I've had for years, is some variant of the Razer Black Widow, around $120. Anyway, she was apparently expecting me to be selfless and let her use my nice keyboard while I use the Amazon keyboard. She was upset that I didn't value her enough to lend her my nice possessions and left her with the cheap $10 keyboard. Those were her words. She said if the situation was reversed, she'd lend me the nice keyboard. I explained to her that I have my keyboard specifically set up for work, and because I'm so used to it, it would hinder my ability to do work if I didn't have it. We continued to argue about it. Things really came to a head when she boldly claimed that if I wasn't willing to lend her my nice keyboard, I should have bought her a nice new keyboard if I really cared about her.
Girl, buy yourself a keyboard.
This is when I got really mad. I told her she was acting like an entitled, spoiled child and that she should have been grateful that I went out of my way in the first place to grab her the Amazon keyboard. Right? She started crying and asked me to go home. I left, but I still gave her the Amazon keyboard to use. Very nice of you, OP. I was far more upset at the principle of the situation than the keyboard itself. Now she's calling me an a-hole for both not giving her my keyboard and for calling her spoiled. We're going to meet up tomorrow to talk about this in person because I refuse to continue this silly argument over text. I'm thinking about ending things with her as I feel like this is her showing me her true colors. And we have some relevant comments. But before we get into those comments, Carly, what do you think?
She sucks. Be happy that you have a keyboard at all.
Yeah, no, exactly. The fact that you're expecting him to give him, like...
his fancy coding keyboard that is, like, preset to probably a lot of shortcuts.
Why are we doing
no,
this?
he needs that one. Get your own keyboard if you're going to complain about keyboards. You can't pick in this case.
And then with the complaining of like, oh, well, if you loved me, you would have bought me a brand new one.
Girl,
You
buy
don't
your own keyboard.
Excuse me, you don't buy love. You don't buy love. But we have some relevant comments. Relevant comments. Comfy Mistake says, "You are honestly 100% right. She's acting like a spoiled child. Beggars don't get to be choosers. She wants your nice keyboard? She can buy one herself. Better yet, she can buck up and save up for a new laptop. I don't blame you at all for feeling angry. I think you should attempt to talk through it before you decide to break up with her. But it is definitely a red flag that she's acting this way." Info Girl says, "I think you got it right when you said she was a spoiled brat. She should have been grateful that you came over with a keyboard, any kind of keyboard.
Yeah.
Maybe
You could have just not had your laptop until you sucked it up and bought one.
maybe she should take her own advice and be a little selfless. I would pose a question to you. If you two are fighting over a keyboard, what will happen when an issue that is a bit more serious comes up? Good luck with your talk. I have a feeling you're going to need it." And LMKBK says, "Never marry someone until you've seen how they act on a really bad day." Wow.
It is good advice.
And there's an edit. "She texted me asking to meet up tonight instead of tomorrow, as she is feeling anxious and stressed out about the situation. I also wanted to clarify that she's never acted like this before, although admittedly we haven't been together for very long. Some of you suggested that maybe I'm not making her feel valued, and the situation is a symptom of that. While I think I both show and tell her that she's valued in different ways, this may be something I bring up with her. Also, the fact that you went home first to get an extra keyboard,
Right. You already went out of your way.
again, I don't know where people are seeing that from this story where she's not entitled to anything.
Right. I also think that you have to have your own self-value and self-love. Like, that can't be reliant on a partner. That's a different problem altogether. Yeah, they
One.
can make you feel special and stuff, but it's like, you need that on your own first.
Yeah, especially when it comes to just items too. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's so materialistic at this point.
It's
like,
very-
this is
yeah.
over a keyboard.
It, of course, doesn't forgive her behavior,
Yeah.
but may explain some of it. Cheers. And we have an update. Let's just get straight into it.
Nothing to add.
Yeah. So, we met earlier tonight and sat down to talk. I was somewhat prepared to end things with her, so I suggested we meet at her place so that I could bail if things went south. And boy, did they.
Oh no.
Even though I thought I made my post as anonymous as possible, one of my girlfriend's coworkers figured out who the post was about. Girlfriend's age, working in HR, which I mentioned in a comment, same computer problems, dating a programmer, etc., etc. And they sent it to my girlfriend. The reason she wanted to meet early was because she was furious that I had made the post, airing our dirty laundry.
Girl, it's anonymous. I'm shocked someone even figured it out.
Sometimes the world is a little bit smaller than you think.
Too small.
It's crazy. In a sense, I guess she was right, because at least one person had figured it out. My girlfriend never used Reddit, so I figured I was safe. There's a strong chance she'll read this one as well. LOL. Anyway, she immediately began berating me, telling me that I made her look bad in the post and lied about the details of our argument to get people on my side.
Let's hear her side.
I would love to hear it. I asked her to point out any part of it that wasn't true or where I had lied. Long story short, she couldn't point to a single thing.
I'm shocked.
I definitely raised my voice when I told her that if she looked bad, it was only because of her own actions. I told her I only made the post to get some perspective on the matter. The post was 100% accurate, and she knew it. She began to tear up and asked me if I really was considering leaving her over the keyboard. Hold on.
Girl,
You're the one who...
you're the one with the problem.
You're the one who blew this whole thing out of proportion over a keyboard.
Crazy.
I asked her if she understood that this wasn't about the keyboard. It was about the way she acted towards me when I was trying to do her a favor. She stayed silent, and she didn't answer. I asked her what had prompted this outburst, if everything was okay with her. I asked if anything had happened with her friends, parents, or at work that was upsetting her and may have led to this. She got really defensive, asking, "Are you calling me crazy? And do you think I'm unstable?" I had no idea where she was going with this. I told her I wasn't calling her crazy, but that she had to understand that I was quite confused about how she was acting and that there had to be a reason for it. We talked in circles for a bit, and I tried to pry it out of her. I still don't know what caused all of this because she simply wouldn't tell me. When I realized our conversation was going nowhere, I finally asked her if we were going to have an adult conversation, or if this was the hill she was willing to let the relationship pass away on. She asked, "What do you want from me?" And I said, "I want an apology. I'm getting tired of typing, so I'll wrap this up quickly." She was absolutely unwilling to apologize. She thought that my betrayal of posting about this was far worse than her initial behavior. We talked for about 5 more minutes before I told her that I didn't even care anymore. I told her this whole thing was exhausting, as she wasn't willing to help us get to the bottom of it. That we should just break up. I didn't waste any time making my way to the door. As I was leaving, she asked if I wanted the keyboard back. She didn't ask to be nice. She was definitely trying to get on my nerves. I could tell by her tone of voice. I told her she could keep it as long as she promised never to call or text me again. And by the way, you can watch us again and again by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. I guarantee you, we have another episode for you to watch.
Guarantee it.
There's a little bit left, but Carly...
Yay! You broke up with the crazy dramatic girl.
That's wild.
That needed to happen. That was crazy.
The fact that, one, the post was sent to her, and she got furious about it, and she was like, "You lied about me.
Right.
How dare you? Everyone knows it's about me." Like, girl, we don't even know your name.
Also, like, the fact that she's like, making this post is way worse than what I did. And it's like, what's the post about? Could it be what you did?
What you did, and how you can't take accountability for what you're doing, and how you're just ungrateful?
100% if he made a post and he was like, "This is my girlfriend Sarah. She is 25 and she works at this specific HR firm." Then, like, yeah, I'd be like, "Dude, you're airing everything out." But
no,
this is completely anonymous. It's insane that someone even figured it out and sent
and
it to her.
she felt like, "Oh my gosh, now the internet's after me.
Right.
The internet's after you because you were wrong.
Because you're wrong, girl."
And you can't take that, oh my gosh, everyone's calling me
Internet
these things.
criticism.
Let's finish off this story. I've been getting tons of not so nice messages from her friends, which finally prompted me to delete my Facebook. She obviously told her friends some false version of the story, which made it seem like I really did leave her over the keyboard.
Good, you did.
Wow, that's insane.
Also, you did.
But you did. But she started this because of the keyboard.
Right.
I couldn't care less, as I'll never be seeing any of them again. We only dated for around 4 months, so in the end, I don't feel terribly heartbroken. Mostly just relief that it's over. But also, confusion. Still have no idea why she acted out. And to the people who had some unkind words towards me, because I use a Razer keyboard. Pound sand dorks, I like what I like. There's a top comment here. Oceans of Umbrellas says, I saw a comment on Reddit a while back that asked why so many relationships fail at approximately the 3-month point. And someone, no, I'm not going to spend 20 plus minutes Googling to give credit to the person, replied that they'd once been told it was because it was really hard for people to continue pretending to be someone they weren't for much longer than 3 months. I think maybe this applies to your situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And that is the end of that story. You dodged a missile? Nah, I think you dodged a missile. Because, boy oh boy, she cray-cray. What? Is she not cray-cray?
She is. You're just silly goofy.
I'm just silly goofy right now.
My girlfriend's spicy food is making me physically sick.
Well, maybe don't eat it.
I, 25 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 23 female, for 2.5 years. And
Okay.
she moved in with me 2 months ago.
2.5 years, almost
We're
dog
at that
time.
mark.
Yep.
Our
But
relationship,
Not a long-living dog. To
yeah,
be clear.
Doberman.
Short-living dog.
Not a little
Doberman.
rat dog.
Not a little rat dog.
Don't
You're not
even
ready
think
for
about
that.
it.
You're not ready for that.
Our relationship is working out great. We rarely fight, and even if we get into disagreements, we usually are able to talk it through without ever getting agitated or aggressive. By the way, this comes from F My Effing Life, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Sam.
I'm Keon.
And we're We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, we both have different working hours. She works from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and I work from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's not a terrible difference, though. That's not dreadful.
That's not dreadful.
No.
It's a 3-hour difference.
Yeah, she can, like, I don't know, have some relaxed time, and then
Yeah.
you have some 2 hours to relax in the mornings.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
make dinner for someone, make breakfast for the
Yeah.
other, you know.
So every day I make breakfast for both of us, and she makes dinner.
Am I a relationship guru or what?
You guys should have a podcast about this or something.
Oh.
Now, my girlfriend likes her food a lot spicier than I do. I can handle spice, but I try to avoid it because eating spicy foods on a regular basis causes acne breakouts, heartburn, and sometimes even the old diaries in your guts.
That's not good. That's not good.
Ever since we moved in together and she started cooking dinner, she likes to make the food spicier as per her taste buds. Almost 4 to 5 days a week, we eat some sort of stew or soup with serrano peppers, Thai or Indian curries with a lot of chilies, and even pasta with Calabrian chilies or jalapenos added to the sauce.
All
She
right.
likes making it spicy.
I mean, to be fair, spiciness is like another axis of the food world. You know, you got your sweetness. Spiciness is like a thing you play
Yeah.
with, you know?
The thing is,
Umami.
certain spices
Umami.
do need to be added earlier in the meal, like when you're cooking it, to let out the flavors.
Yep.
However, if she
However.
knows that you can't handle spice, then I think it would be considerate of her to maybe make like a separate batch. Like you pull some out when you need to put the thing in. And
How's everyone's spice level here?
Yeah.
I'm medium.
I'm medium. I'm
spice.
medium spicy.
I'm
man.
mild.
Mild.
Yeah, you can't handle
Mild.
spice. I know.
Mm.
That's what we learned last night.
It depends the spice. Like sometimes there's spice where it's like it's just to make it very hot and spicy. If it's for flavor, because usually depending on the culture or the food, like salsa, like you would put salsa on like your burrito or your
Yeah,
or like your
classic.
nachos. That's fine. Like there's a little spice for jalapenos, really
Yeah.
good.
I love chili oil in pho. I love chili oil.
I
in
like
pho.
putting like a pinch of that, yeah. But there's some people who just
I'm
love
putting.
the
I'm
burn.
putting.
Yeah.
half
Well, I
of
feel like
it. I love the
ideally, I
burn.
mean, if I was to come up with a solution here, it would be like spice on the side, sauce on the side. something
bingo.
like that,
Yeah, I was gonna say
You
make it
know?
Honestly, it became too much for me. I've had really bad stomach issues almost twice a week. My acne is so bad that coworkers and friends have straight up told me my face looks disgusting.
Oh wow, those are some nice coworkers and friends.
Hey,
Either
OP.
you have a terrible relationship with them, or it's really, really good, and they feel like they can be honest with you.
Those are the best friends. Like I would go to Cody and be like, dude, you're ugly.
Yeah.
I think that I would go to my dermatologist.
You have a
if it is-
dermatologist on tap.
Well, not on tap.
Yeah. I feel like your dermatologist sounds like you have like a personal relationship with them.
Well, I mean, I do have a personal dermatologist.
Yeah, but it's like you go to a dermatologist.
Okay, I'll go to our dermatologist.
All right.
And I take antacids almost every day. I tried to tell my girlfriend to add fewer chilies, make 2 batches of the food, or maybe add hot sauce to her portion. But every time she just tells me to man up and that if I can't handle a little spice, I should adapt since it's not always going to be in my control. And at that point, that's super rude.
Do you know what I would
One,
do?
What?
I just would make my own food.
One, make food, but also just like, all right, send her a photo of the toilet every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I manned up. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Compliance?
Malicious compliance.
Malicious compliance. Last night after dinner, I told my girlfriend that we need to figure out some other way to make dinner which keeps both of us satisfied because I can't keep eating like this.
Yeah. Maybe she thought your first thing was like, it was playful banter. She's like, just
Yeah.
like man up. But I think you need to tell her like, this
Yeah,
is a
no, this is
serious
affecting
problem,
my
and
health.
I am not like my bowels are exploding within me.
Yeah. Once again, I was met with the same thing she always says, but I held my ground this time and told her that I can in no way continue to eat the food she is making because it is actively damaging my health, and I am willing to cook my own dinner from now on. She has been giving me the cold shoulder ever since and saying that I do not value her contributions to the household and that she'll have to do twice the amount of work because I'm being a baby over spicy foods.
You can just make it less spicy.
I really don't love how she's reacting.
No, I feel like this is maybe a sign that you don't have great communication.
Yeah. Yeah, because if she's not listening to you when you say it's impacting your health,
Yeah.
it's not a great sign. Am I in the wrong here? And there are some relevant comments, but do you have any of your own?
I do not think OP is in the wrong here. Again, this is a
No.
health thing. Like if
It'd be like if I said like if I punched Sam every day and he was like, "Hey, can you stop doing that? You're like bruising me."
yeah,
Man up.
And then I was like, "Man up,
yeah.
man up."
Yeah, the world's gonna be punching you every day. You know, there's ops around
You
every
might get
corner.
punched by another person.
I would also respond to her like, how does one man up to just constantly go in the bathroom like 4 times a week?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, exactly like that. Just constantly go to the
make it
bathroom
2
4
times
times
a week. Yeah.
I would tell her that
Wait, how
that's
many times are
actually
you going to the bathroom?
a
He-
lot.
He said he's going to the bathroom like at least 'cause he
4
should-
times a week, I feel like is normal.
No,
Probably 4
no.
times a day.
I'm
Oh,
a day. I'm a
Okay,
day.
all right.
But like,
I was like worried about
she
how
cooks- she
many times you were
cooks-
going to the bathroom.
didn't she, like, cook-
constipated or something?
some people are, you know.
4 times a week, actually. Like I have a friend that poops like once every 3 days.
That's bad.
That's terrible. Every morning.
They're not getting a fiber intake in.
I know. I'm confused.
I'm
That's bad.
scared for
And
them.
I'm like, they eat, and they're a little person.
They're not eating the right stuff. Comment 1, quick question. If you are making a savory breakfast, do you make hers differently than yours since she likes spice more? But what
Just add hot sauce though. You can
also,
add hot
yeah, like
sauce.
what spicy breakfast is? I mean, I know there are in different cultures, but
Shashuka.
like, yeah, but that's not necessarily spicy. And you can always put a hot sauce, which is like after the fact
Yeah.
thing.
I think just put it after the fact.
OP says, so it depends. If I'm just making some scrambled eggs, then I'll make mine and then add hot sauce while mixing her eggs. But I sometimes make homemade sausage patties, and those I just make the same sausage mix. Then after cooking them, I'll serve her sausage sandwich or whatever with some pickled peppers or stuff.
Add the sauces after.
So,
This is
yeah,
such
so
an
OP
easy thing to do.
So OP is here making separate meals to accommodate for both of them, and she can't do that.
Well, no, he's not making separate meals. He's just adding
Yes, he
separate
is.
sauces.
Yeah, which is what she can do.
Yeah, but
But he's like pickling peppers for her.
he's pickling peppers.
Yeah,
Whoa.
he said adding pickled peppers.
Pickled peppers.
Peter
He's
Piper.
placing pickled peppers.
Picked a pickled pepper.
He's
But there is an
placing
update.
Pickled peppers on the plate.
Yeah.
He's plating pickled peppers. He's plating and placing pickled peppers.
That night, I came home a little later due to work, and my girlfriend had made an Asian flavored curry. Once again, too hot for me to handle.
Too hot to
Genuinely,
handle.
too hot. A hot new bombshell has entered the toilet.
Oh God! A hot steaming bombshell. A hot
Genuinely
spicy steaming bombshell has
entered
entered the toilet.
Genuinely, if I had to have that conversation with my partner and then they still didn't listen to me, I'd be like, hey, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I had
That's it?
one bite.
What else would you do?
I'd say, hey, this is not okay. It's not a wonderful type of day.
You tell him, Sylvia.
I told my girlfriend once again that I cannot eat the food she is making since it is borderline poisoning me. She rolled her eyes and told me to fill up on plain noodles since she can't be bothered to make something else for me, as she is tired.
Bro, she sucks.
She stinks.
She
Yeah, I
stinks.
think we're at the 2.5 year mark, and I think this is done. I think this is donezo.
Thank you.
I told her that since I'm not eating the food she makes anyway, I would simply start making my own dinners from now on. She blew up at me, saying that if I make my own dinners, then she would be forced to make her own breakfast, and she doesn't have time to do that. I hadn't even said anything about the breakfast arrangement, and I would have been happy to make both of our breakfasts, but she was in no mood to listen.
I'm confused what's going on here.
She just sounds awful.
Maybe
She just sounds really nasty.
I feel like she must. I feel like this is an outsized reaction. She must be upset about something else in the relationship.
She must be, because this is a ridiculous thing that is so easily solved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering why she has so much attachment to feeding OP this too hot food.
Maybe she doesn't believe OP is like
I don't think
manly
that,
enough or something.
maybe that. I also just don't think that she actually believes that OP is affected by this. Because I think sometimes.
Look at the toilet. The proof is
Yeah.
in the
Well,
toilet pudding.
absolutely.
In the bowl, yeah.
In the
But I think
bowl.
sometimes with people who can handle like really, heavy amounts of spice, like I have some friends who can't handle spice at all. And I'm always kind of surprised by that. I'm like, really? You can't, like, that doesn't even say spicy to me. But like some people really just can't handle any spice.
It's just like a fingerprint. Everyone has
Yeah.
a different palate.
Like like Keith from the Try
beautiful.
Guys has a geographic tongue. So like his tongue literally can't handle the spice because it's so sensitive.
A
Fun fact.
geographic tongue? What
It's
does
like
that
when
even
your like
mean?
tongue looks like it has like cracks in it. It's like
wow.
it's like
Could you have,
tectonic
like,
plates.
Salt and like,
I don't know.
because people like that, they can't even have sour candy.
Yeah, I think he's probably affected,
Ooh,
but,
feel
or anyone who
bad
has
for
it.
that person.
She ranted about the smallest of things, like how I don't bother changing into her home clothes before I eat dinner, or how I get up later than her. I still get up in time to make her breakfast between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Yeah, why would you get up at the same time as her? You don't have work at the same time. She ranted for maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
That's so long.
She's literally trying to, like, blame you for things. She's avoiding the problem and is instead trying to blame you for things so that she can take the heat off of herself.
She's making more problems than the problem at hand.
I asked her where this was suddenly coming from, since she had never mentioned anything of the sort to me.
Yes.
OP
There's
seems
a
so
deeper
chill.
issue. Yeah, OP seems. I mean, also, everyone's going to make themselves look chill
That's
in their
true.
own story.
She went silent and told me to give her space and that she didn't want to talk to me for the time being. I went into the guest room and slept away from her that night. For the next couple of days, we didn't talk much. Each made our own different meals and stayed in different rooms. On Saturday, I asked her if she wanted to go for brunch, since I figured spending some quality time would make us relaxed and give us time to talk. When we came home, I asked her if she wanted to talk about what had happened. Again, she got quiet and told me to just forget it, move on, and that the system we had in place for the past couple of days was working for both of us.
It was not. It was not working.
I was confused because we were now living like two roommates in a shared house and not like two people in love. I told her that this system was no way working for me. I can't just stay with someone I love without saying a single word, eating different meals, sitting at the same table, sharing no time in the house. She got even more upset, saying that I was ignoring her happiness and got annoyed when I said that I can't just ignore my own feelings. That's when she dropped the words, "Why can't you be more like Colin?
You're joking.
Why can't you be more like Colin Robinson?
No.
He would never say stuff like this."
She name
She
dropped
name dropped
another
Colin.
guy.
In the argument, break up, break up.
Is this a red flag?
Yeah,
Let us know in the comments.
Is this a red flag? My girlfriend just name dropped another guy and compared me to him in the middle of our argument. I immediately asked who was Colin, and she stayed silent. After a lot of questioning, she said he
Trickle
was
truth.
Yeah.
Trickle truth.
Yep.
She wants to tell you that she's been getting spicy with another man.
Oh,
That's why her
that's
food's
even
so
better.
spicy.
After a lot of questioning, she said he was a guy at her workplace.
Oh my
Colin
God.
is in a relationship with some other girl in the same office. They're good friends with my girlfriend, and it seems they have similar taste in almost all things, like movies, hobbies,
like
food,
men?
travel.
Men, similar taste in men.
Think so.
Her and her workplace colleague
Think so.
and Colin on a little polycule.
Me and my girlfriend, on the other hand, have about a 50-50 ratio. Oh, of like liking the same things. I don't have any hobbies other than I like watches and watching tennis matches. Those aren't hobbies.
Liking watches.
Liking watches isn't a hobby.
I think it could be a
I
hobby.
think it's a hobby.
I don't think so.
You're just telling time, but fancier.
Interest. An interest isn't a hobby. If you were like, your hobby was fixing up watches,
Yeah, I guess a hobby needs to be active.
a hobby needs to be active.
How about collecting watches?
That's
Maybe
still
that's
an interest. I don't think that's like, maybe that's more
Is
of an
collecting cards a hobby?
Yeah.
I think collecting watches is closer to hobby.
I think by liking,
collecting
he's
is
saying
a
liking
hobby.
watches, he's saying I like collecting watches.
Yeah.
Maybe he just likes watches. What's wrong with that?
I just don't think that you have hobbies.
How
And
about
I think
liking
you have
trains?
to. I
How
think
about
you
like
have to
going
fix
and looking
that.
at trains?
That could be a hobby because that's active. You're going out.
But he
and
likes
looking
looking at
trains.
watches.
He likes looking at watches.
That's not enough of a hobby.
How is that different than looking at trains?
Sam, if your girlfriend only hobby was looking at watches, I don't think that you would
I'm
be a
saying
match.
I have a higher bar for what kind of
I
hobbies
think
I want my
OP's
partner to have. But I think that you could say, all right, watching birds, is that a hobby?
Yeah, that's active.
So is
looking
watches.
at watches. Oh,
They
look,
don't
a
move.
Rolex.
They don't have to
What do you mean?
move.
Yes, they do.
What about
If a
taxidermy?
guy is walking through space, what is... Look at this.
People's whose
Look,
hobby is
look,
taxidermy.
Look, the watch is moving. What is it? What is it? It's a
People's whose
Casio.
hobby is taxidermy. Their hobby isn't looking at taxidermy. It's making.
Sophia, if
It's
you
not a
like going to
hobby.
museums, you're just looking at art.
I used to say it like that. Museums. That's a hobby. I work in a highly technical field, designing construction equipment, while she, and by extension Colin and his girlfriend, work in a very creative field, fashion and ornament designing. So my girlfriend essentially has built up a mental image that Colin is in a perfect relationship because he and his girlfriend have the exact same interests. And honestly, both of them have much more similar interests with my girlfriend than me. So now my girlfriend wanted me to become more like Colin so that our relationship can become more like theirs. I tried to tell her that all relationships are different, and the only thing which matters is that we're happy together.
She does not seem very happy. Sounds like she wants
Yeah,
to be with Colin.
Opie's like, it's okay. It just matters if we're happy together. And she's like, well, we're
happy,
not.
right?
We're
We're
right.
happy, right?
She's like,
Oh, no. See, all right. Also,
Yeah.
just to refresh, right? She was mad and was unmoving on a
Yes.
very small thing. If that happens in a relationship, usually there's something bigger.
and here it was. She
Here it
wanted
was.
you to be like Colin. She tried to end the conversation saying that she is not comfortable talking about this with me. Too bad. To which I said that if she wasn't going to talk about this with me, who else would she talk to?
Colin.
Colin.
Oh, who you gonna call?
Colin. Colin time.
Colin time.
She just said that she was going to stay over at a friend's house. And we would talk tomorrow, and she left.
Yeah, probably calling to work next sick. Calling to work sick next tomorrow.
At this point, I was overwhelmed and confused, so I decided to spend the rest of the day searching for good couples counselors since I could see which way our relationship was going. I woke up Sunday morning and she was already home.
You don't have to call a relationship counselor to see where this is going.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Just look at where it's going.
You just look out the window at where it's going.
It's going down.
I cooked breakfast for both of us, but she had already eaten at her friend's house. She started the conversation by saying how bad she has been and that I deserve better. Breakup conversation.
She cheated.
I
I've been a
was-
bad
yeah.
girl.
I've been so bad.
I've been so bad.
I was confused because rather than apologizing, she was just stating all the things which made her a bad person. She's like, I'm so bad. I did all this. And he's like, okay, are you going to say sorry? And she's like, and I also did this. To say sorry about that? No, okay. I told her to just come to the point, and she told me she had been approached by Colin and his girlfriend to join their relationship as a third.
Oh my God.
That was pretty clear.
I
That was pretty clear.
thought it was like I thought that
I
maybe
thought
they
that's
were
where
just
that
going
was
to be
going.
cheating with just Colin. I didn't know it would be a third.
Yep. I was
Also, that's so bold
yeah.
to be like I don't feel
At
like I
the
haven't heard of
workplace?
I haven't heard of many cheating situations where it's like your affair partner is not just one person, it's a
It's
couple.
two.
Like we've heard
Yeah.
of multiple affair partners, but we've never heard of joint like a couple being the affair
Also,
partner.
I think it's pretty bold for like your coworker to approach you with that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was silent for some time and just asked her to pack up and leave. She tried to hug me and talk to me, but I just pushed her off, told her to give me the keys before leaving, and went into the extra room and cried my heart out. She came into my room maybe 30 to 40 minutes later, started crying after seeing me. She started cursing herself out again and saying that I deserved better, but I just told her that her tears meant nothing to me. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Colin.
Oh, he was calling?
Well, then you know that your girlfriend gave him the number.
Mm-hmm.
He started swearing at me about how I dared to make girlfriend cry and that'll F me up if he ever
What?
sees me near her.
What? Colin. No. Be called in sick.
Yeah, she's Colin. I hung up on him after telling him that he can have her to himself and I'd rather pass away than see her again. That's a crazy. Some people are just crazy. Like this man actively steals OP's girlfriend and then
I
calls
was like, don't
him.
talk about my girlfriend like that.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Come on.
There's more. A couple days later, while leaving for work, I saw that someone had keyed my car and destroyed the plants I keep outside my front door. I have a suspicion about who it was. I think
Was
we
it
all
Colin?
know.
You think it was
Yeah,
Colin?
I think it was absolutely Colin. But don't have any proof, so I'm not filing any charges. I will set up cameras around my property soon, though. You gotta set them up ASAP.
Yeah. Agreed. Colin is
Colin's on the case.
he's on the case. He's making his rounds.
As for my girlfriend, she has tried calling me multiple times, but I decline every time. At first, she left voicemails about how sorry she is, and she just wants to talk once.
Crocodile tears.
To get closure. But after I did not call back even once, now she's leaving comments about my past traumas and fears that I had talked to her about, even speaking about the multiple times she had Colin and his girlfriend over to my house when I was not at home and telling me what all they had done.
What? They were smooching on the low?
This is crazy. What's your angle, girl? You're like, no, take me back. Well, joke's
Well, I
on
feel like
you, we're
often,
cheating
like when
on you.
people get in this situation, they cycle between like
Yeah.
being
Angry
angry
and
and
defensive.
conciliatory.
I'm so disgusted by the fact that I wasted almost 3 years of my life with her. I have been seeing a therapist regularly, also planning a weekend getaway with 2 of my best friends to Vegas. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better, majorly due to my friends. Don't know where I'd be without those 2. By the way, you can be with us if you listen to full episodes, stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
There is a little bit left to this story.
I mean, just like she's given you every reason to move on very quickly. I mean, if there's any silver lining, she has given you numerous reasons to be like, all right, I am done with you. You were not a good person to begin with. Let's move on.
Let's get out of here. Let's skedaddle.
Let's skedaddle.
She stinks. I am considering selling this house and moving elsewhere due to security concerns and emotional reasons, but I'm not sure if that would be the right move. I'm also worried that she might share my address with my family members who I'm not in contact with, so that is another factor. I'm trying to get an internal transfer at my current company since I like the working culture, but if that does not work, I might just look for jobs in other cities too. That sucks. Like, literally, this all started because OP was like, hey, I just can't handle this spice.
I can't handle my spice.
I just can't handle the spice.
Do you think she was purposely trying to poison him and like trying to
Probably.
make him break up with her?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably
Or
just
just, like,
trying to trying to
testing.
be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My main focus was just making sure I don't do something hugely damaging to myself. Now that I've had 2 to 3 weeks to cool down and get some control over myself, I'll start looking at the longer picture. I don't think there will be any more updates after this. Hopefully my life just becomes a little more boring after, and I can live peacefully for some time.
Oh, man.
Dang,
OP.
rough. You had
that
a tough
sucks.
time. Yeah.
I can't believe it all started from like my food's a little too
My
hot.
food's
Like,
a little spicy, girlfriend. Yeah.
I think that's something that often happens, that people will make a big deal out of a small thing because there's actually a big deal beneath the small thing.
It's always the case.
Always sometimes the case.
Always something.
Always sometimes the case. Sean K says Colin sounds very manipulative. OP's ex needs to be careful. I mean, I think sure, but I think OP doesn't need to care about that anymore. I think she can fend for herself.
A little bit left.
That's it. Truthfully, that's the end of that story.
That's the end of that story. And if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you, and see you tomorrow.
Except